Welcome to the next dimension in entertainment. Coming to you live from the offices of Chapter One Films in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the 4D Podcast with your hosts, Greg Prins, Nathaniel Levinson, and Marco Brutus. Sit back and enjoy a deep dive into film. This is the 4D Podcast.
I'm a clock. If you didn't know, if you were unaware of the time, you didn't have a smartphone, you just look at my arms and you'd be like, that's Greg. It's
Time has failed us.
It's clearly 7:01 p.m.
Is that what you're pointing to?
You didn't see it?
I mean, you don't know?
You're talking about time today. And Nathaniel's going to talk about time today, so my arms should have been a dead giveaway. He should have been like, Greg, why are you a clock? There might be a reason for that later. I'm just kidding. There's not, if you're thinking about it. You're thinking
famous
too deeply.
clocks in movies. That's my segment.
Oh,
Famous. That's
old grandfather
I
clock.
can tell you right. I'm already falling asleep.
This
Just got tired hearing
that. This is the ASMR. Go to sleep.
Famous clocks.
It's all right. Famous clocks.
You ever met a clock guy?
Like a guy who's into like a watchmaker?
Yeah,
or?
I met one dude who, I mean, a watchmaker just sounds too cool. I always want to call him a
clock boy.
a clock guy. Let's call him a clock guy. And I met him at a party, and he looked like a clock guy. Imagine what his mustache looked like. He's freaking big, man. He had a big mustache, and I think that
Did it twirl?
Yeah, it did the twirls.
so
Because it wasn't like the Cogsworth, like the straight ones. Which I mean, if it was
more
like
like
that,
the
I would have
Basil
just twisted
Rathbone.
his nose as soon as I saw him. I just started twisting his nose. Oh, sorry.
Greg Bully confirmed.
He would have loved that. Actually, he'd have been like, "That means a lot to me. I like clocks a lot." It's just hard to connect. The reason I remember him is because and this is a true story. It's because most people you walk up and you meet, it's like, at least for me, this is weird. It's revealing a lot about myself. But like, you can picture them as a storefront, and you're like, "Oh, what's in here?" like no. But you walk in. And you're like,
just gotta go to the Greg store. It's just volleyballs.
but then it slowly gets filled the more you get to know somebody. Fair, like so I meet this guy, and like this is just the way my brain works. This is how I meet people. This is how I remember things, and this is how I find interest. And dude, just clocks everywhere. Had nothing in common. There wasn't a sports section of the store. There wasn't like a pop culture. It was like clocks everywhere, and I'm like, dude, I got nothing.
I walk into the Greg store. I walk into the Greg
s-
store. I say, "You got anything other than volleyballs?" Well, we have some rants over here. The Salt Jedi and dyslexia. Got him.
But at least I have variety. All right. At least it's not just clocks. It's Tuesday, March 3rd. This is episode
3-3.
56 of the 4D podcast. We're excited that you're joining
We've
us.
done 56 episodes.
I know, it's been
crazy.
a while. It's been a while.
We've spent a lot of time in this tiny room.
It's a
being
huge,
very, very
it's a
hot,
huge
yeah.
room. Don't tell anybody.
This tiny room. It's this tiny warehouse that only has 17 acres.
Well, you are wearing a hoodie. That's your choice today.
No, I keep telling Greg we need in-ear monitors so we
No
can actually wear
way.
hats. But
Well, I'm wearing a hat properly with a.
I've
yeah,
worn a
but I
hat
got
every
my box
day.
of hats and like none of them.
not Nathaniel's hats.
Yeah,
You
not
can't
like
wear those.
hat hats. They're tough. They're tough.
We're excited you're joining us. If you're watching now and you're wondering why you can't comment and join along in the fun, it's because you haven't subscribed. So go ahead and subscribe.
It's probably
hit that
a skill
button.
issue.
Go ahead and like. It helps the algorithm, and because we want to hear from you. So with that being said, let's get into the news from the last couple weeks. New movie trailers to hit the airwaves. We have Scary Movie 6, which to be honest, I was like, okay, no interest. I watched the trailer and I kind of laughed.
I did too.
Has it come back around to being relevant again? Just because we're so? Is it because
Let me just
we've just been so starved for actual comedies?
Let me tell you, the first opening scene in it is like it's your typical like bionicle like murder robot thing that's like standing in a subway, and you're like, oh shoot! And if I didn't know because it was YouTube that this was Scary Movie, I would have thought that it was just
like an actual
horror
Scary
film.
Movie.
And it like takes off the robotic mask, and it's the guy from Scream underneath it, and you're like, oh, what? And then he like stabs this girl, and this person on the bus is like, oh my gosh, he stabbed her, and she's like, I go by they them. He stabbed them.
Okay, all right, maybe.
I was like,
There was a lot
if
of
that's what it's doing, then it might actually be. It
yeah.
was pretty funny
there
to
were
watch.
there were quite a bit of like little quips like that I thought were so funny that
Yeah.
were just so good.
I
And again, it might be
actually-
because it's been so long since we've had a movie like that. That's just it's just taking the piss out of everything.
It might just work. Because the think about it, Scary Movie at the time it was made, every Scary Movie made was like a big franchise, big scary. Like now, scary movies are made. Everything is a scary. Look, the rest of the movies that are up released, scary movies.
Yeah, there's
weird.
so many horror.
It's just like
And
the
one
new
of-
thing is scary.
yeah.
So now they've
Well,
got
one
so
of the
much more
reasons is
fodder.
it's really easy to make low budget.
I think that's
Yeah.
what it is.
That's a really big part of it. Is there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah.
Like story frameworks you can tell
Sure.
in a horror. 'Cause you got like supernatural. You've got like just evil people. You've got
There's a wide range for
demonic
sure.
stuff. You've got alien stuff. So there's a whole lot of stuff you can do in the scary
Within the
movie
horror
space.
genre, yeah.
And also you can do it for really, really cheap.
That's the bigger thing. So it used to be kind of
Yeah.
like that's where directors and smaller stars would
Yeah.
get their start.
Yeah,
They'd
and
start off
that's
and stuff
another
like
thing
that,
is
and
it's
they'd
not
move on
just
to-
like the production budgets are lower, but also no one's going to a horror movie expecting a big name actor.
right.
My problem with horror flicks is that it's just an hour and a half of the main good person being such a moron.
Yeah.
90% of the time. It is how much of an idiot can we make this individual? That's for 90 minutes.
Well, that's what the first Scream was like. Like the first couple
kinda
Scream
makes
movies are
fun of,
making
yeah.
fun of how dumb people are.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I do remember seeing. I think it was Scary Movie 4 or 3, maybe. It was pretty much the only one that I actually saw. I saw it in theaters. And granted, I was a kid. I thought it was hysterical. And I still think about some of the scenes in those movies and I laugh. So I'm like, to get new, fresh content like that. And you're right. We just haven't had a whole lot of that kind of thing.
Might be worth
I
a
bet
watch.
you-
Now,
I
the
mean,
question
how much
is,
do we rant about movies and they're going to be sitting there effectively doing pitch meeting versions of
Yeah.
this thing, but on screen?
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of funny. I don't know.
I mean, look, I'll give it a shot.
I think it's actually worth giving a shot. I think it'll be a fun
Now, the
one to
question
watch.
is, do we commit to watching the whole series? Because that's one where I'm like, I feel
Once
like
you've seen one,
once you've seen
yeah.
one, they're all the same movie.
I mean, but it might be good
interesting
enough
to
laughs,
see,
though.
It might be
to-
interesting to look at the evolution of what they're parodying.
Right. Yeah.
That actually might be interesting as sort of a time capsule of
Yeah.
like what did the filmmakers think was relevant at the time. That might be really
Because
interesting.
the one
to
that I
look at.
watched was like, it was Signs and The Sixth Sense. It was like the M. Night Shyamalan stuff. And it was so funny. He's the kid that walks around and sees dead people.
I'm down to. I'm
And,
down. We're looking for a series. I'm down to do that. They're short too. So worst case scenario, we're just like, oh, these are awful, but
Yeah.
they're short.
Yeah.
so,
and like they should at least provide some laughs. I
Sure.
don't think it'll all be stupid.
yeah, it may not all land, but
Yeah. All right, Mortal Kombat 2 official trailer came out. I don't know if you saw
That's
it.
another one we need to-
It
yeah.
looked kind of cool. I don't know.
It's one of those.
Did you watch the
first
first
one?
reboot?
The first reboot
Yeah, I
was
did.
was just bad. It was
Oh, you
just
didn't like
bad.
it?
It was bad acting. It was
Did
the
you,
issue.
Did you
And
watch the first batch, like the 80, 90 ones?
yeah, that's
I've
that's
seen-
the
have you
one
watched
that
those?
that's the one that I saw. I didn't see
Okay.
the
I've
fresh
seen
one.
bits
I
and
guess.
Yeah,
pieces.
so because this
I've
is a
seen-
sequel to the reboot.
There's a reboot that came out over COVID. It's
Yeah.
2020. Like it was a
Oh.
new Mortal
Yeah, yeah,
Kombat
yeah.
movie.
I'll have to go watch that. I didn't know that.
So that's
It was-
another one where like
I've
maybe we should
se-
check
I
out.
saw
the-
that one when it came out, so that's what 6 years now.
The
It's
only thing I
crazy.
know, the only Mortal Kombat thing I know is the Sindel. It's one of the older ones, the really bad ones.
Yeah.
He's like Sindel comes, Sindel's dead, and the person's like, "You're alive," and she goes, "Too bad you will be dead." It's like one of the worst line deliveries ever. It's so good.
God, I
gonna
think
be a
that's
lot
why
of
I
that.
didn't like the movie. But this new one, I was like, oh, this one actually looks kind of neat.
kinda
I
decent.
feel like it'll
It's
be
kinda
fun.
nice.
It's going to be a lot of CGI
Yes,
punchy fight
lots.
scenes, and that'll
It's-
be. I don't know. Like I did. So I never even played the Mortal Kombat games, but I did.
Mortal Kombat. It actually this is great because it's actually going to tie into what I'm going to talk about.
Really?
The
So
Mortal-
I
the Mortal
watched
Kombat
like
lore.
a multi-hour long history of the Mortal Kombat franchise, and I actually loved that. I was like so into it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've never played these games, but I don't care. This is so cool.
They're all super soap opera-y, especially the newer ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's all just about these brutal deaths in the new, especially the new ones. It's like how gruesome and insane. Like they've effectively become the horror movie version of games, and they're like, hey, each character just has a finishing move that you can see, and that's
Yeah.
the
Right.
unique element of the game.
The thing is, like, honestly, the newer ones are kind of boring. Like you've
never
gone
played
through
them,
every
so-
single one to dissect. Like I meant the fatalities.
Oh, okay,
You've
yeah.
kind of gone through because every now and then I'll go and watch
Yeah.
like the
It's-
old fatalities. They got some. There's actually some of them that are kind of charming. There's one where like it's Mortal Kombat 3, like Cabal. He has this one where he takes off his mask. He's got like a spooky face, and then he just like scares the person. Their soul like comes out of the body and just runs away. And like that's clever. And now it's just like, oh, let me just chop you up into 10 billion pieces and there's blood everywhere.
And it's like how many different things
ways
can you do?
that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's fair. I do like that they keep adding horror movie villains in, and like so they always have like a special character
like
that they'll
Alien
keep
and
adding
Freddy
in.
and Predator.
And so many of them just kind of work in the Mortal Kombat universe where you're like, yeah, now it's a xenomorph. And
Well, they
he's in
added
there.
Omni-Man too.
Yeah, exactly.
made a lot of sense.
Guys like that, like and the guy from The Boys, Homelander.
Oh, yeah,
where it's like,
Homelander. That
people
makes
like that,
sense,
they're
too.
just excessively violent. It just kind of works within the series. Freddy, Jason, they've added all of those characters in. So I think that's actually a fun little series. Not to play, well, maybe to play. I don't know. I've never tried it.
And they're one-on-one fighters, so you either like them or you don't.
Frankenstein's Bride. So we haven't got enough Frankenstein. We got Frankenstein's
That
Bride
one
with Christian
seemed like it was
Bale.
gonna be more of a. Is that meant to be like a drama like
Yeah,
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein?
I think so.
I
So I was
don't-
seeing stuff for it, and it seemed like it might be a little kitschy.
but that is actually one of the trailers I did not watch. So
I didn't watch the trailer,
It's
but I
the
saw that.
only trailer I did not watch.
it kind of was like a half horror, half drama.
It looked
Have
like
y'all
an
read
I don't know. It was
Frankenstein?
weird. It was weird.
The what?
Whatever.
Have
it
y'all
was.
read Frankenstein, like the original Frankenstein?
No, I don't read.
I think I actually listened to it a long time
It's.
ago.
I mean, it's basically like Frankenstein's basically like, well, because you didn't show me love when I was a child, quote unquote, I can't be held responsible for any of my actions. It just like kills everyone. You're like, okay.
we did get into a flame war conversation with a guy on YouTube that was commenting on one of Marco's.
was this happen?
Marco made
When
a
was
post. This is like over the last couple days.
Yeah.
Marco made one of his shorts is him saying, you know, the whole my truth thing is garbage. And this guy is just like, well, technically, if you read Plato and blah, 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 then my truth has been around for blah, blah, blah.
That doesn't make it true.
Yeah, and I
hey,
was-
moron.
and then-
that doesn't make it.
and-
Plato's saying it doesn't make it true.
So basically, he was just like, "Oh, there is objective truth and subjective truth," and so then I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of semantics." I'm like, he's basically just saying you can honestly make a mistake,
Sure.
and I'm like, "Well, then that's just you being honest," and he's like, "Yeah, well, that's your truth," and I'm like, "But saying
So-
it like that is garbage." Like,
Yeah.
that's
so
why
what
I
you're
was
saying
like,
is you can be wrong about things.
yeah, he's like, well, if I was to give directions and they weren't right, but it was what I thought was the right directions, then that would be my truth. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not why people are saying my truth.
And
then
also,
I try to reference
Marco's
the
point is
context.
Marco's point is that oh yeah, that's a great example. Oh, I gave you directions; they were wrong. I thought they were correct. Okay, but that doesn't make them correct.
Right. And well, and
There's objective, true reality out there,
Yeah.
and your truth doesn't align with that. And the whole point is you need to align your truth to objective reality, or
Yeah,
your
he got
nonsense.
he got super narrow as soon as we pushed him on it. He was just like, "Well, I was just saying exactly, you know, just saying, you know, technically he said," and I was like, "Okay." Anyways, sorry, not that we're not going to talk about that guy anymore.
You're wrong.
wrong. We have Pinocchio Unstrung.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
There's another Pinocchio.
My God, this is
like the trailer alone is bonkers. It's,
It
it's
is
a horror
so
movie
funny.
about Pinocchio being
going
like,
crazy and
I want to
killing
be a
people?
real boy, and so he goes around and he starts stealing body parts from people to become a real, like peeling their faces off and getting
It's
their organs
so
and shoving
funny.
them inside of himself. And he like takes his nose off at one point and throws it and spears somebody.
It's so
He waits
funny.
on the ground while a girl's getting out of the shower and she steps on his nose and it just goes through her foot.
Oh my God.
It is wild.
It is.
It's
so
it's a
funny.
continuing trend of literally
Yeah, we just talked about this
anytime
last week.
something comes into the public domain, the very first thing that happens is people make a shitty horror movie of it. They happen with
so
Winnie the
funny.
Pooh. It happened with Mickey Mouse. Like
Well, you just talked about last week, Robin Hood. I mean,
Yeah,
Robin Hood,
yeah,
they're coming
yeah.
out with a horror version of Robin Hood. So, there's a real indie movie called Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Masma.
that sounds like
Something like that, yeah.
sounds like a spoof of Friday the 13th.
It looks
honestly,
super indie. I watched it. Half of the trailer is kind of like animated and weird, and I have no interest. Way too indie for me. And the last one is Pressure with Brendan Fraser, and this one looks really, really
Oh,
interesting.
I am
Marco's.
so pumped about this one. This
What is
one
it,
is
Boots?
specifically
Tell 'em.
about on D-Day there was weather.
oh
on
yeah.
D-Day.
You talked about
And
that.
yes, and I am so excited for this because it's going to talk about weather, and I'm such a weather nerd. I am a
weather
big weather
and World
weenie.
War II history.
It's going to be
Like,
phenomenal. I'm so excited. Plus, it has Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser
who
is like a
has
war
fell
general.
off, but then not.
No,
at the
well,
same
he's
reason.
made a
He's made a
comeback.
comeback.
He's
and-
actually a really good actor too.
Man, we'll bring that to the people one of these days.
These
so
days.
If you're wondering, oh no, I can't get into it.
Mummy
It'll-
2. Go
it'll-
watch the Mummy
it'll
2 and you'll know
sidetrack the
exactly
whole
what we're talking about.
Movies to hit theaters in the last couple weeks. We have Dreams. This is a romantic thriller from director Michael Franco.
Great. That tells me literally nothing about it.
I don't know anything about this movie. If anybody knows anything about Dreams.
Nope. Moving on.
Scream 7 was the big box office one of the last couple weeks.
Has it been doing well? Because I've heard nothing about it.
Fair. It's not,
I
it's
heard.
not-
I listened to a podcast about movies or whatever, and they were saying that it was fine all the way up until the end, and then it was just bad. Like the reveal of the bad guy was just bad.
I think that's a big thing in those movies is that the killings just keep happening. It's always Ghostface, got whatever his name is. And then at the end, it's like a Scooby-Doo, like they take the mask off and you find out who it is. But I think I've never seen a Scream movie, but I think the idea is that you meet a bunch of characters, they all start getting killed by Ghostface, and then at the end they take it off and it's one of the people you've met.
Yeah,
and so you're kind of like trying to put it like, oh, who could it be? So
Yeah,
I'm sure
and
this
it's
one
always
has a bad
trying to
reveal.
play with current. It's a smarter parody than like scary movies. Just like let's make jokes.
Better
Scream
who
is
done-
like a smart or intends to be a smarter parody.
Yeah, it's just a better whodunit than Glass Onion, really.
That's literally the bar. What is it? One of my favorite analogies. The bar is on the floor of Satan's wine cellar.
Speaking of, somebody also commented on he made a short of you talking crap about Ryan Johnson, and somebody was just like, I guess you're allowed to have bad opinions or something.
I mean, yeah, you are allowed to have bad opinions. That's not one of them. And I'm sure I have bad opinions. That's just, again, that's not my truth. That is the objective truth. He's a bad filmmaker.
And then somebody else is just like, probably the best whodunits of our generation or something, the best murder mysteries of our generation.
So what that tells me is you have very little experience with murder mysteries. You have not watched any good murder mysteries.
Agreed.
I would not recommend the Kenneth Branagh Murder of the Orient Express. That's not a good one.
But all the other ones are better than any of the
for
Ryan
sure.
Johnson ones.
Yeah.
I Can Only Imagine 2. This is a Christian movie about, I think, the guy that came up with that song. I
Yeah,
Can
so
Only Imagine.
the original,
Yeah.
yeah, the original was about how he came up with the song and all that. I thought that movie came to a conclusion, like with
I would
a pretty bow tie.
imagine. I
But
would
then
imagine. I can
I
only
can
imagine.
only
I can only
imagine.
imagine it being a sequel.
Anyway,
I can
don't know.
only imagine there being one movie in that series.
Yeah, I don't really know how he's going to, or they are going to make a sequel out of that. I thought when I watched the movie years and years ago that it tied up in a pretty bow and to a conclusion, and I thought that was going to be a one night.
I don't know
one thing.
if it's about how he came up with the song. What more do you do after he's created
Right.
the song? I haven't seen them, but
Right. I don't know.
And then we got a couple other smaller ones that I've not seen or know much about. How to Make a Killing and Psycho Killer. So to
I heard
continue-
Psycho Killer was dog water.
I don't even know anything about
It's
it.
a horror movie. It's like a horror slasher movie, and people are like, "Yeah, the
Horror.
first like half was kind of interesting, and then it just gets bonkers in a bad way at the end." That's all I've heard about it.
Random news from around the airwaves. Netflix loses bidding war
Wreck idiots.
to Paramount Plus for Warner Brothers for $111 million.
Billion with a B, not million. Billion with a
$111
B.
Monopoly dollars. $111 million.
Billion is billion.
No,
Is
it was
it
it was
million?
million.
million?
Is it million?
Yeah, million. M.
I thought it was
Really? I
million.
thought it was billion. Anyways.
Billion would be.
I can
insane
quick
amount of money.
quick check, but
Wasn't
you're probably
Star
right.
Wars only bought for like $2 billion?
4.3 billion.
Yeah, there's no way it's 111.
But that was
billion.
4.3 billion in like 2012.
It was 2014 or 15.
Whatever it
but,
was.
But I'm
No,
pretty
'cause
sure
it's-
it's million. You want to double check that it's million?
I'm checking now.
probably right.
I'm checking now.
Anyways,
Oh, jeez, it is a billion. It's
It's
billion.
billion?
B with a billion.
Thank
Holy
you. I was
crap.
like-
$111 billion.
Yes, 111 billion
what
with
was
a
the
B.
UFC? What did Paramount play for the?
60. I guess it was in the
Paramount?
billions. Yeah, it was like 60
so-
billion or something.
And Netflix's bid was like 80 billion.
Man, 111 bill for Warner Brothers.
It's not real money though, because it's like
7.7 billion for the UFC. Billion.
So,
Golly.
how does this affect people? How will this change anything?
it won't change much. So people on the left are freaking out because Ellison, the guy who runs Paramount Skydance, is apparently leans more conservative, and with the acquisition of Warner Brothers, it also includes the acquisition of CBS and CNN. And so like, oh heavens no, there might be a more right-wing news network. Like, you mean there'll be more than just one? Oh no, terrible. But the thing is, it won't make a difference unless Ellison cleans house.
Yeah.
So unless he decides to clean house and say, hey, this dog water you're putting out, the Starfleet Academies, all this just really truly garbage stuff that nobody is watching, by the way.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, and I think money talks. I think if Starfleet Academy was truly a successful show that people were actually watching, even if it was like the wokest of woke things, if it's making money,
You have to kind of eat
businessman
your
is
crow
going to
and
say,
right.
yeah, if it's as long as it's making money, I'm happy to let you do what you want. But the thing is, these shows are not making. They cost a ton to make. They look terrible, and they just get absolutely crashed. So, what's weird is because people are like, oh, Paramount has like Landman and Tulsa King and all these shows that are appealing to a more traditional audience. And
Yeah,
apparently Paramount's letting Taylor Sheridan walk, which I'm like,
See,
he's got all your top 10 shows. You need to keep him.
Yeah, that part does baffle me a little bit because I was kind of having the same thought that I was like, man, Sheridan's making all this real kind of blue collar stuff, but
And it's all successful.
at the
Every single
acquisition
one.
of Warner Bros. For him to let him walk would just seems silly.
Yeah. So it only matters if Ellis then cleans house and says, if you're to the left of Stalin, you need to leave, which will get rid of 90% of their employees. I do think it'll probably be in a better place than if Netflix got it, because let's be honest, Netflix is so bad when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad that.
And so
Netflix
I think
did
it would get. I don't necessarily think it'll get better. It only gets better if Ellis decides to fire everyone. I don't think it'll get worse.
Sure.
I don't know what this means for like Hobomax and Paramount. Are they going to merge their streaming services?
Hobo Man.
Which is great for me because that's what
HBO Max.
Hobomax. Those are the two I pay for. So if they merged and I had to pay less, that would be nice.
I mean, honestly, we have them all. Me and my wife have them all.
Yeah.
We have
So
all
my
the
family,
streaming
we all pay
services.
for like
Pub
what-
TV,
so
ladies and gentlemen.
I pay for two. Yar, ahoy, matey.
Search the web sees for all my content. Arr, scurvy. And last bit of news is there was controversy around a movie called I Swear.
Oh, yeah,
Did
yeah.
you guys hear about this? So
Yep.
there's a British awards ceremony called the
BAFTAs.
and a movie called I Swear, which we'll get into when we talk about things that I've watched this past couple weeks. Incredible movie. Follows a guy who has Tourette's. There's a real story about his life. They actually have a lot of footage of him that they show at the end of the movie. He is a real dude that struggles with it.
And it's like, and Tourette's is a lot of these mental illnesses have spectrums of how bad they are.
yes.
And so some people have Tourette's, and it
It
really
just causes
it gives you a tick.
a few little like
Yeah, it gives you a tick.
twitches.
Sometimes
somebody
there are
does.
physical ticks. Sometimes they're verbal ticks. They're not all like the one that's most infamous is the swearing one. And he has that one where it's like whatever the worst possible thing to say in the situation is,
Yeah.
that's what he says.
And having
It's called wait, you know this. It's called coprolalia.
really.
Yes, which literally means shit mouth or shit tongue.
Well, it's funny because you watch the movie and you find out that he has a severe case of it where it's really all of those things. He gets these bad physical tics where he's just moving and his eyes are blinking. He can't really see straight and he's jerking his body around. But then he'll also just kind of yell like hip hip hip. And then in certain situations where you can tell he really doesn't want to say a certain thing, that thing will come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Like he gets a dog, and every time he goes and he stops at the light, he's like, wait, and he goes, go right ahead, wait, go right ahead, wait, go right ahead, and just like there's cars going, and he just has to keep telling the dog to not do it because his mind just says the thing you're not supposed to say. And so he goes and meets the queen, and the first thing he's like real nervous. He walks in there, he goes, fuck the queen, and just screams it, and he's like, sorry. So anyway,
Super Scottish.
So this guy is at this award ceremony because they are honoring his movie. It's getting an award. The guy who played Elrond in The Rings of Power, which is garbage, but he is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. Like some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life. Like incredible. So he wins this award, and the real guy's there. And so later in the BAFTAs, Michael B. Jordan goes to hand out an award, and he screams out something you shouldn't scream to a black person. Screams out the N-word.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't say it either. Like screaming's not the issue.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't say
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
But anyways,
You know.
at a point of silence in the auditorium, you just hear him yell it. He's obviously incredibly embarrassed,
And somehow the BAFTAs in their live stream didn't, because he said like he yelled other things, because again, he can't control it.
Yeah.
And they censored out the F words, but they didn't censor out the N word. And you're like, hello?
He obviously, like, having watched the movie, this is a guy who's dealt with so much crap. He's been beat up, he's been thrown in jail. Like, it's people that don't that experience it like that, and before you get to know him and figure things out, you just make the judgment. And so he leaves because he doesn't want to disturb anybody else. So he leaves the BAFTAs, and they announce, like, hey, sorry if you heard anything, that was an involuntary tick. We just let you know the person that said it didn't mean it. But then it started this whole thing online of people saying, well, that's no excuse. And that just drives me up a wall, man.
Like, no, that's literally,
that is
people are like,
quite
oh,
literally,
well, that was what was in his head. No, because what was in his head was the worst thing I could possibly say would be this. And so
Yes.
his brain just says that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with whether he feels a certain way about certain people.
Yeah.
It's what would the worst possible thing to say be?
Yeah.
And then his brain says, okay, you're saying that now.
it, like, literally, like, his one of his father figures in the movie, this is a bit of a spoiler, but he's just an old, he passes away, and so he finds him and he's really distraught, and he calls the cops, and the cops get there, and he's crying, and he's just like, oh, he's in there, and he keeps going, I killed him, and he goes like, and he just sits back and he goes, I killed him, and then he just keeps every word he's saying, every other word he's saying, I killed him. There's nothing to do with any, but it's just a tick, and these people don't know him, so they're like, what do you mean you killed him? And so he's like, I just can't control what I'm saying. Making fun of people for dying of cancer once he finds out they have cancer, like, it's just all that stuff. Anyways, so the fact that was a real life experience of what the movie is portraying is just a wild. I mean,
Yes,
I hope
and
it
of
points
course-
more attention to the movie, because the movie's incredible.
It
The movie's
does, and
amazing.
what it also shows, well, you know, what we've known for years is that all this supposed sympathy for mental illness and disability, it has a hierarchy,
Yeah.
and guess who's at the top of the hierarchy? Not the white guy. So it's like, oh, you said that. It literally doesn't matter what the context was. The fact that you can't control it. That the only reason he said that was because it was the worst possible thing to say. So his
Right.
brain makes him say that. And they knew he was in the audience. And the BAFTA guy came up and he explained. He said, "Hey, this is what's happening. He's here to receive an award because of his movie. He has no control over this, and it doesn't reflect any way he actually feels about people."
Right.
So the BAFTA guy, again, they absolutely should have censored it in the broadcast. Don't know why they didn't do that. But you know, the guy who was in charge of the BAFTA actually handled it really well, like at the ceremony.
Yeah.
So
No, I thought everything that happened there was fine. And Michael B. Jordan, and there was another
was it Jamie Foxx?
black dude. It wasn't Jamie Foxx. It was another. I didn't know who it was, so I'm not going to be able to tell you the name. But the two of them were up there, and actually both of them just handled it like professionals. Like, just kind of kept going through their whole thing, didn't say anything. So that was fine. It's the internet and the conversations that have come up
Yeah.
after it that I just roll my eyes.
Well,
at.
yeah, it's where you see that the hierarchy of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Where it's like they don't actually care about any of the people that they're claiming to care about. They're
Right.
just trying to score points.
Happy birthday to Jessica Biel. It is your birthday today.
Name a movie she's in without looking.
She is in. Oh, she's in one of the Blade movies.
Is she really?
And she's from
she an evil
Seventh Heaven.
vampire, or was she-
She's from Seventh Heaven.
Never watched that.
Oh man, she's in. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Nope.
She's hot. She used to be in
Great,
a lot.
so-
she dated Justin Timberlake for a while, I think. Happy birthday to Alice in Wonderland, the newer one. To Dune.
Oh,
2.
Oh, she's in
Johnny
She's
Depp.
in. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
yeah, he just said
Someone
that.
said that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was googling what movies because I didn't know and I was
Happy
curious.
birthday to Dune Part 2. That was just a couple years
The
ago.
Villeneuve one.
And the newest one. The one that just
I
came out.
imagine it would have been a really good movie if I could hear any of the dialogue. Oh, actually, I enjoyed it.
Happy birthday to Logan. It is your birthday today,
good movie.
Logan. All right.
One of the few movies that has like a really tragic ending that I actually enjoy.
Yes. All right. So let's get into what we have been watching here at the 40 podcast on the last couple of weeks.
I'll go first because I haven't watched much.
Okay.
So Greg and I obviously finishing the Harry Potters. It's funny, starting with movie 3, all the colors are so washed out. And then we're noticing Ron, and again, this is not the same as in the books. Ron is just completely useless 90% of the time. He's such an asshat.
He's a flip flop in the whole entire
he's
movie.
just
absolutely.
He's just
useless.
awful. one thing I noticed, and this is not unique to Harry Potter, but I noticed it specifically because they keep going through all these battles, and Harry and Ron come out and they're like covered in scars and blood, and then Hermione, like her hair's frazzled, but her face is absolutely perfect, like complete makeup, and I'm like, that's just a thing that happens in movies. Is like they don't let the women be battle scarred.
Dude, Emma Watson's just that beautiful.
Sure, they'll just pop out and like
Sure.
and like oh, we're gonna get in trouble again. We're the guy is like bleeding and covered in dirt and muck, and the girl's standing there and just like she just stepped out of the shower, and you're like, did you put like dirt repellent, like Rain-X or whatever?
That's exactly what they
wax?
did.
So
Women have Rain-X.
Exactly. It's very funny too because you see all the kids getting older, but once Emma Watson was like 14 or 15, she doesn't change at all. So she looks the same every single year while Harry and
Ron just gets chubbier.
Ron just gets taller and taller. Neville, what a glow up.
Neville
Yes.
had a big glow up.
Man.
Yes.
I mean, still good movies. Still despise the end of the 7th movie. And the worst part is, and again,
8th movie, he
Eighth
means.
movie.
7th book.
because okay, so in the 7th book, let me just explain why it's trash. And this is I will someday do a segment on this, on when you change the book ending and there was no reason for you to do it. Is in the book,
It's going to be a tough episode for
uses
Mark.
This is going to be a rough episode.
I'm gonna
he
talk-
uses,
talk
he
some
uses
crap
the
about it.
Elder Wand to fix his broken wand, and then he buries the Elder Wand in Dumbledore's grave. And he says, the power of the Elder Wand is the legend of it. That when you kill someone, you get the wand. So I'm just going to bury it with Dumbledore, and when I pass away of natural causes, although he's an Auror, so he could die anyways, but regardless, when I pass away,
Right.
it breaks the spell. In this one, he doesn't fix his wand. He just goes, and I'm like,
You missed
What?
a really
You
key point to the book, yeah.
you even showed Dumbledore's grave, so we know where it is. We know it exists. Anyways.
What
You
else?
Missed the point. And then I've been watching The Agency, which is like a CIA show with Michael Fassbender. And for a CIA show about spy stuff, it has been really boring.
I was not expecting
it's a
that.
solid
It
report.
has been really, really boring. Like, it took until episode 6 or 7 for him to actually do any spy stuff.
That's annoying.
And like there's like this overarching plot about this like one of their assets disappears, and so they're trying to find him, and just like nothing happens for the longest time until like episode 6.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I don't know. Well, it's one season, so I'm gonna finish it out, but it's mostly about the love story. Like, it's basically about him simping for this Senegalese woman, and I'm like, what am I watching? He has a daughter, and his relationship with his daughter is super toxic.
I don't know.
I don't know. Michael Fassbender's great, but I wouldn't recommend this show. It's a spy show that's been very boring, which is weird.
All right. Same Harry Potter movies. Similar comments. Mine, as we'll see later in the show, I have some
Still
more
like 'em.
bad things.
I feel like I
to
should just
say.
mute my mic halfway through your segment so that I'm just not like,
It would be more funny if you just hear your groans of pain like in the distance.
I'm bringing a segment later this evening called "Wrong," where I
We're just gonna hurt Marco
talk about how I don't think the Harry Potter series is all that great.
oh no.
oh.
Anyway, so we'll move on from those movies. I watched A Few Good Men for the first time. Incredible
Great
movie. Really good dialogue. Just draws you in the whole time. It'd been a while since I've watched a movie and been like, oh shoot, I've got to go do this thing, but I don't want to turn this off. So that felt good. And it kind of led me down this little rabbit hole of watching kind of like businessy courtroom dialogue-led movies. So I watched A Company Man with Ben Affleck. Kind of just like it's star-studded, and it's about this guy who loses his job and changes his perspective. Very good-hearted movie, but it's just kind of boring. The Big Short I watched was recommended by a friend as one of his favorite movies. I actually thought this was a very good movie, kept my attention. Maybe it's just me being a dummy, but they dumb down the financial talk and the lingo to try to, they break the fourth wall, which is an interesting thing. They'll stop and they'll be like, and so this is what that means. It's blah, blah, blah. So it's actually kind of clever. And I liked the majority of the movie. The ending of the movie is a little unsatisfying. It kind of ends in a serious way with a serious tone. And you're like, this whole movie has kind of been goofy and jokey, and they'll be like,
And
hey,
then everybody died. What?
they would just randomly be like, oh, here's Margot Robbie in a bathtub to tell you more about like blah blah blah, and she'll just sit there and she'll explain what this complicated thing is, and then it'll just come back to the movie. And so they'll do that several times. They're like, here's Selena Gomez and somebody's come from Iron Chef, and they're going to tell you about this next part, and they're just like, sitting at a blackjack table and they're explaining how this all works. Those parts were kind of interesting and definitely the most fascinating parts of the movie, because you're like, you don't usually see this in films, but it has that kind of like silly tone and kind of like almost like an Ocean's 11 type feel to it, like, and then it just ends in this really serious way, and I didn't really like the ending all that much. I watched I Swear. I talked a little bit about that. That is a phenomenal movie. By the way, I looked it up. So I saw it on the high seas on Pub TV. Apparently, it came out. They're all extremely Scottish. Like I imagine they're in Scotland somewhere. I don't know.
One would think.
But the movie hasn't been released in the States. It comes out in
April. End of April.
End of April. It'll hit theaters. This is a movie worth seeing. Like, I'm telling you, incredible acting and just a story that I guarantee you most people don't know about. And there's not a whole lot of topics that most people don't know about, but the Tourette's is definitely one of them. I think most people would watch and go, this is interesting because I don't exactly know how this works. And that's kind of the whole idea of the movie, is there's not really been movies made about the details of Tourette's that go through a guy's life who, it doesn't end in this movie, masterpiece way. I'm not going to spoil how it ends, but it's very grounded and real. It really feels real, and it's just a pleasure to watch. I would definitely recommend going to see I Swear. I watched The Social Network for like the millionth time just because I was like, oh, good dialogue. Let's go back to like my favorite movie to rewatch ever. I don't know why I have this chemical reaction in my brain to like I could just start that movie right after I finish it. I don't know why. It's just
have you watched the one that's just about people transiting from San Diego to San Francisco and back? The SoCal Network.
That was terrible. Mute his mic for the rest of the show. Some random TV shows. I'm still watching Primal. Still watching New Girl. Finished the Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
I finished that one.
Absolutely incredible.
Excellent.
If you haven't
Highly
seen
recommend.
It motivated me enough to go back and start to watch Game of Thrones again. I've only ever seen it once. I'm fast forwarding a lot. The egregious sex scenes, I just fast forward, and just because there's so much of them. But already it's like, no, Night of the Seven Kingdoms was just way better than this. There's some intrigue about Game of Thrones, but it's all ends so horribly, and it's everybody that's nasty wins, and you're just like, ugh, this is so gross. Anyways, that's what I've watched this week.
For me, I watched 5 movies.
Look at you go.
Look at me. I told you, man. One of my New Year's resolutions was to watch more movies. That's just one of the things. So I watched, in preparation for my segment, which is Weatherman with Marco, I watched Twisters.
You sure you wasn't Rain Man with
And
Marco?
I watched The Hurricane Heist. The Hurricane Heist is really bad.
Is that a sequel to Sharknado?
Dude, it is almost as bad as Sharknado.
So,
it is
Ocean's
can
11.
Can I guess what it's about?
Sure. Go for
Is
it.
it about people who are like, oh, there's a hurricane coming in. That would be a great time to rob a bank.
Identical to the that's 100% what it is.
I was going to guess that it was
I'm a
people
Henyo.
that were like, oh, there's a storm, let's steal it, and then we'll have the storm
The
ourselves.
only person who can steal a storm is Carmen Sandiego.
It is a movie about a group of people who go into a government held building where they shred old money or something.
So it's
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
use
There's a lot that are
a
based off.
hurricane as cover. Basically,
What movie did we watch
Yeah,
fairly recently that had that? It was the one with Jeff Bridges. No,
No. It's the one.
You know the one I'm
There's
thinking
two
about.
of them.
Yeah,
the second
yeah.
one was
The first
absolutely
one-
horrendous.
Dog Days or
Yeah. It was like Dog Days or something weird. Like, no, you kept calling it Dog Days. It wasn't Dog Days. Gosh,
It
we
had
watched.
Ice Cube's kid in it.
Yeah,
and this first one
it has
was
a bunch of
decent.
UFC fighters in
Yeah,
it.
and the second one was
interesting.
tragically bad.
It has Gerard Butler as the main dude, and
Gerard.
it's about
Gerard.
Gerard.
Jared Butler.
Jared Butler.
Oh man, you kept calling it Dog Days, but it was not that. Any
I
other
don't know.
movies, Marco?
Yeah,
Den of
I-
Thieves.
Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves
I
1 and
also
2.
watched Dante's Peak, which is a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's an older movie about a volcano. Very, very good. It is a bit of an older movie. I watched over the weekend 2 movies. Taking Chance, which is a movie about a colonel who does the escort for a fallen soldier from airplane to home, and talks about the soldier's life. Very heartwarming. Definitely one that like is meant to make you cry. That's the whole point of it. And then on that same felt, I watched A Fault in Our Stars, which is also a movie
Is it
specifically
A Fault or is it
meant.
The Fault?
The Fault. Sorry, The Fault in Our Stars. My apologies.
It's the one that's like, well,
It's-
maybe
That's the
maybe okay
green-
will be our
someone
forever.
green novel, right?
Yeah, it's a novel. It's based on it's
girls dying of
essentially- yes.
something.
Cancer.
and
Both of
guys
them have
like,
cancer.
I fall in love with you
Yeah, both of
anyways.
them have cancer. The girl has some sort of like lung cancer of some sort, and then the guy has a cancer that took his leg, and then eventually he dies first. And not to spoil it, but it's an old movie. Get over it. It's actually very well done in terms of the acting and everything like that. It is specifically meant
To make you
to
cry.
make you cry. Like,
Yeah,
That's the whole point of the movie. Very well done. Great acting. It has the girl from Divergent. Cannot remember her name.
It's the guy from Baby Driver.
Yeah. So
You're
anyways,
saying these things,
that's
and
what
I'm like, okay.
That's what I watched.
That
and
being said,
then
Nathaniel.
I am halfway through the series, the season that was just put on Netflix of Alone. So I'm halfway through that.
Oh.
Very, very good season. They're all the way up in the Arctic, past the Arctic
Love
Circle.
that show.
Phenomenal
I got
show.
Marco hooked on that
So
show.
good. So good. So I'm halfway through that season. We'll see.
Yeah. Nice.
You know, alone is a contraction of all one.
Very interesting.
Very good.
All right, so I'm going
I'm
to
on
be
fire
bringing
today.
the first segment today, and I've hinted at it already, so Marco can go ahead and
Hit him.
hide.
Hit him where it hurts.
We are going to go with a wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
So
One more
good.
question from Ken Bone. Ken?
Some new soundbite intros for our segments. So
Wrong.
I will be bringing you a wrong today. This is where I find a bit of movie acceptance, whether it's this movie's great or this movie's not good, and I disagree with that. So I am going to say that the general notion that the Harry Potter movies are great is wrong. So I know that this is controversial
stand
territory.
between you and
Can I
Marco?
interject
Let-
really quickly before you start? Just
That's fair.
very
That's
quick, so
fair.
that way I can shut my mouth. This entire segment is also wrong. Just let it be known.
There you go.
I disagree 1,000% with whatever you're about to say. You're wrong
That's
already before
your
you
truth.
start.
You beat
No,
me by a second.
no, that is objectively the truth. Harry Potter is a phenomenal series. Period. Point blank. I'm done talking. I'm going to mute myself
I will
so
say,
that you don't hear
I
me
do
groaning
think
and
they
moaning
decline in
the
quality.
entire time that you're talking right now. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So you might ask me why I think that
I do ask you. No, I'm just kidding.
Explain yourself.
So let me start here. It's definitely fun intellectual property. This is a world that is created, and you have to give her points in the sense that, like, Lord of the Rings is existing property, and you're adapting that's already been created by Tolkien into a movie. That's one thing, and then it's done incredibly. But for her, you have to give her the credit of saying, yeah, she created this content out of nowhere, and that stuff is fun, right? The first few movies are actually pretty good, but this is the problem, and it kind of develops. So overall, the movie, and we and Nathaniel have talked about this, it's not a very deep world that she's built. Like, it's very much like in your face. And to be honest, and this is, again, it's going to ruffle some feathers, I would put this kind of in the same category as, like, Twilight and Hunger Games not in like I would
I don't
much
agree with him on
I
this.
would much rather watch these movies than those movies, but in the sense of, like, you've taken the concept of there are witches and wizards and, like, hey, what if they were in a school together? Wouldn't that be fun? And you're going, well, of course. Yeah, I would love it. I've never seen anything like that. Let's see it. And they're kind of like, hey, what about werewolves and vampires? What if they were in school together? And that's kind of what we get with Twilight. And you get this really crappy, cringy love story. And I'm sorry, Harry Potter, there's a lot of really, and we'll get into that. So anyways, it's hard because the veil is really good at the beginning and it hides you from this really not very deep world. And you go, this is okay. I can handle this because we have John Williams creating music and we have some really funny, charming kid characters, right? This is a problem. So the third movie comes along, and that is the last one that John Williams scores. So he leaves, and honestly, just for reasons of being too busy, he was like, yeah, I'm doing a bunch of other movies. But I think that this was one of the biggest I think that they should have been like, all right, we will not make a movie unless we have you around doing the score. The score is not there for 4, 5, 6, 7, and the second part of 7. There is no dun 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 dun. And you hear that, you think Harry Potter. When I think Harry Potter, my mind goes to the first couple Harry Potters and hearing that music, like the real fast-pitched, whatever you want to call that, while a freaking owl flies down in the halls with all these. So all of that looks very cool, but it's kind of a cheap payoff when the world isn't deep. It's like you need a lot of that the whole time in such a shallow world, in my opinion. So how do these develop, right? So John Williams leaves. This is a tough one. We also get the guy that plays Dumbledore leaves after the second movie. Granted, he passes.
Dies. He doesn't
Come on! Give him He died! That's such
he
bullshit!
left. Yeah.
That is such a bullshit take because he fucking dies!
Okay.
Yeah, so the
Bullshit.
first actor for Dumbledore left the Earth, this mortal coil.
Shut up.
I cannot hold back when you shit on the previous Dumbledore because he fucking dies! He dies in real life, Greg!
You're a monster.
Anyways, this is not a segment saying that they should have done a better job in this circumstance. I'm just saying this adds to why the movies decline rapidly. All right. He was a big draw. He was one of the few characters that wasn't a kid. We get Severus Snape. A few characters that wasn't a kid that is actually like charming and bringing people back. He's a main character. You have some other ones. Hagrid's very charming. He's a good older character. Snape is a great character. Although if you actually look at the amount of screen time he's in, it's really hardly anything. Especially the first 4.5 movies, he's barely in it, and then he starts to kind of come alive at the end of the fifth, and then the sixth is effectively about him, although you don't know it's about him. But even in those that he's about, he's a very minor character. So Dumbledore, who's a big character, and he's one of the few characters that's not a kid, who's actually played by a great actor, he passes away. It's unfortunate, but 2 movies and he passes away. And this is where I really think that the movies took a bad turn. They decided, and again, I'm not saying the books are bad, and Nathaniel will probably speak more to this. He's read the books. I think that the movies decided to focus on the love aspect and say, hey, things like Twilight, they're all doing well. We need to be like that. We need to be a teen drama. And the problem is, none of that hits. And I think that it's really hard for even the people that like Harry Potter to say that hit. Like, even the people that like Harry Potter, are you sitting there like, oh my gosh, the romance between Harry and Ginny is just... Dude, she's a mailbox in that movie. Like, she is. No, like, you see her and she's like,
okay, I will give you.
We're not going to open this up yet, okay? I'm going to finish my thought, all right?
The chemistry of a log floating in a pond.
Because that's not the only one, right? Because you also get Hermione and Ron, which is supposed to be the big one, and dog. Like, I watch... Dude, you're laughing because you know this is the problem. Even the people that love Harry Potter, they're like, but the rope. And I was on that ship, and believe me, this is the two phases. I watched 1, 2, and 3, which I think are solid movies. And the last show we had, I was like, dude, they're great movies. And even then, though, I was like, the world is thin. The world is like paper thin, but there's enough. There's the music happening. There are the characters growing. They're still kids and they're charming, and it's not a whole lot about the relationships. It's just kind of like about the world building. And even though that's not great, you just get to see a lot of fun things. The problem is that 4, 5, 6, 7, and the second part of 7 just dig super deep into the cringy love dramas between teenagers that aren't all that charming. And then you get no John Williams music. And the world that's paper thin, as the story gets more intense, you have to focus more on that. You're like, and this is a big deal because now we have Voldemort might take over, and what does he really want to do? Does he want to kill all the Muggles? He hasn't done anything to the Muggles. He's killing like half of the people that aren't purebloods. But again, maybe there's more explained in the books. But in the movies, it's really weird. Like, Hogwarts is still going. There is still a school playing soccer matches against each other. While they're like, some of the students are like, I might kill you later because I don't like your parents. And they're like, yeah, Matt, why don't you go over there into the Slytherin house where we keep all the evil people? What? Why do you have a house full of evil people? Like, well, they're the evil. You know, if they want to kill people and if they murder other students, we put them in Slytherin house. It's like, what? And so again, if this was movies 1 and 2 and 3, we'll put 3 in there. Those are the only ones you'd say there is enough fun enjoyment here. This is charming enough. I love the characters. I don't necessarily have to dig super deep into this world. I can enjoy these, and I can understand why people enjoy them. But man, they fall off a freaking cliff, and I didn't want to have to say it, but I'm telling you, after just watching them, the movies do all they can to focus on this really crappy drama between each other with the occasional, hey, there's magic and isn't this amazing looking? And that part's kind of fun, but we're going to go to the Quidditch World Cup. It looks great. Quidditch World Cup's over. You're like, okay, all right, I guess we're not going to see that. They're like, now we get really cringy Ron and Harry and Hermione talking about skin. And you're like, great. Here's a love potion between a bunch of teenagers. All right. Okay. Here's Ginny Weasley, and here's Cho, the last girl that he liked, and we have no reason why he just stopped liking her, but now he's into Ginny. We're just going to pretend that that's been happening for ages. Dude, it is, I'm sorry, they get cringy, and the second to last one, that movie is unwatchable. I'm sorry. I finished the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and I was like, I will never watch this movie again. Boy, do they camp. A whole lot of camping. And then Ron, no more camping for Sorry. So I'm going to go out there and just say, I actually don't think the Harry Potter series as total is that great. I think the first two, and you can include the third in there, is a good trifecta. Those are and when I say really good, you take it with a grain of salt because the world that's been created isn't that deep. It's kind of just like there hasn't really been anything else that's tried to do witches and wizards in a school setting. So let's just do that. And you're like, oh, I've never seen anything like this. No, you can't pull at the thread too hard. There's nothing really deep there, but I can be enamored by this. Should it go on for 8 movies? Clearly not. That's my consensus. That's my evidence for why I don't think that they're actually that great a movie.
You want me to go before you do, Marco? Because I
No,
imagine you have a lot to say.
because all I'm going to do is just sit here and yell at him. And I can't defend half the shit because all the shit that he talked about was far too in-depth. When it's a surface-level movie, that's what it is. It is a surface-level movie.
No, but I explained.
No. You had your time. My turn.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Greg.
It is a surface-level movie. You do not have to think that hard into it. It is a basic magical movie, period. And it is good. Period. End of story. You're wrong. And the fact that you denigrated fucking
really
Dumbledore, who died halfway through, pisses me off. Bullshit, and you know it.
Have you read the books, Marco?
I have read the first one and the second one. I'm not a reader, though. I'm definitely not a reader. I cannot stand reading. It's work for me.
Oh, my God.
It is.
Surrounded by
It's a lot of effort for me. I'm not a
surrounded by
good reader.
idiots.
It's just a thing. I'm not a very good reader, so it puts a lot of effort on me.
Well,
to read.
I would
Let's
encourage
hear your
both of you.
rebuttal.
Apparently, they did like acted audiobooks for all the books.
I'm excited to read those. I have not started them. My
Listen
wife
to
is my wife is doing them. The first one now. When she's done with it, I'm gonna then take that same one and do it. So yes.
So I would recommend, and I think a lot of the love for the Harry Potter movies stems from the book fans.
That's fair.
And this is one of the problems. I think the reason you see a drop off in quality as you get past, especially past the third movie, is because the books are getting longer and longer and longer, like significantly. If you go from the third to the fourth book is almost twice as long as the third book. The fourth movie is like the same length as the third movie. So they're trying to squeeze more and more in to these smaller and smaller spaces. And one of the problems is they have to pick what to focus on.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with the books, with what's actually going on, and I think that's why a lot of it is forgivable if you've read the books, because you already know the background that they're cutting out.
Yeah.
So they're not explaining stuff, but you're like, oh, well, I know why this works. So I think if you come to the movies from the books, you're going to have a better time because all that missing information that makes the world seem paper thin, and I'm not saying the world's like super duper deep. Again, I talked about that last time. But it is definitely like she did put thought into the world. You get a lot more about how the wizarding world works, how the muggle world works, the interactions between those two. You don't see almost any of that in the movie. Almost any of that. To the point where there are a couple things, and this was something I pointed out. In the 7th and 8th books, right? Okay, so there's this whole thing.
Only 7 books, but 7 and 8 movies.
7th and 8th movies. So there's this whole thing where everyone calls Voldemort he who must not be named, or the Dark Lord, right? Or you know who. Because they're scared to say Voldemort. And then, like in the first book, Dumbledore teaches Harry, like, no, you should call him Voldemort because calling him you know who, calling him he who must not be named, just increases his power that he has over you of fear, right? By naming him Voldemort, you know, like, I know who he is, right? So there's this whole thing. So throughout the whole series, Harry, Ron, and Hermione and the people close to them are calling Voldemort the whole time.
Yeah, and everybody else doesn't.
It gets to the 7th book, and they're like on the run. They're in the diner. It does have the diner scene where they're talking, and then suddenly, like two wizards appear and try to get them, and then they go somewhere else, and they're talking, and then they keep getting caught, and they're like, how are they tracking us? And they figure out that they've cast a spell so that whenever someone says the word Voldemort,
Okay.
because they're the only ones who would do that.
Yeah.
They're the only ones who are brave enough to actually say Voldemort. So like, it's actually really clever. Like, oh, who are the only people who would say Voldemort's name? The people who we want to catch. So if we just know where people are saying it, we know where to catch them. And they figure that out. And so they start saying, you know who, and he who must not be named. Right. They do that in the 7th and 8th movies without telling you that happens. There's a whole point in like the 8th movie, they just start saying, you know who, and he who will not, they just call him
This is
you know who.
reinforcing my point, by the way.
And they leave out the point of like, why are they suddenly saying you know who? They don't tell you that at all. It's completely absent.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of stuff that's missing. All the world building that she did do is completely absent. Again, it's not like the deepest world,
Yeah.
but she did do a decent chunk of world building.
And I'll concede that.
And it's completely missing from especially the later movies.
Yeah. My only point being from a movie standpoint specifically, that's my stance.
Well, you're wrong. So,
Sorry, we're going over. On that.
we are
need-
going
need-
over. One of the 2-second thing. I am such a big fan of Harry Potter, and my wife and I are such big fans of Harry Potter that we have named all of our like devices in
Children.
the house Voldemort. So when you say like Alexa or something like that, it doesn't like,
You have to say Voldemort, Avada Kedavra.
no, it's like I want to tell the Voldemort something or whatever, so that it doesn't activate. It's like he who shall not be named.
Oh, I see.
It's
I
a
got it.
spin-off
I
thing.
actually like
Anyways,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you use it.
Yeah,
because it's a great
I always-
fucking thing.
I always just call it Voldemort. I'm like, well, Voldemort over there.
It's so
if you
good.
say it, if you're just like, oh, well, Alexa,
and then
it's
it'll
like-
pop up. Yeah.
And I'm like,
so
I
anyways,
say he will not be named. Yeah.
next segment, we're running over.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Go for it, Nathaniel. What are you bringing?
What I brought to lighten the mood a little bit, I've got a game for us.
Hey,
So, do you
Nathaniel's
guys
got a
know?
game.
Do you guys understand how before and after category works on Jeopardy?
Give us a rundown, and also
Okay.
the people around.
So it's two things, and the last word of the first thing is the first word of the second thing.
yes.
And so I'm doing it with movie titles. Okay,
boy.
so I'll give you an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the modified plot
I'm gonna be so bad at
of the
these.
movie. Don't worry. I almost all of these I'm sure you've either watched them or you've heard of them, like very famous movies. And I tried to.
Okay.
I did do a couple. I was able to do a couple for movies that we've actually watched.
Okay.
But
So before you start giving an announcement,
yes. I'm gonna give you an example.
Okay.
So here's the example. Clint Eastwood can't remember if he fired 5 spells or 6.
Clint Eastwood.
Can't remember if he fired 5 spells or 6.
Dirty Harry Potter.
Dirty Harry Potter.
I'm gonna be. I'm already gonna tell you, Greg. I'm so
Well, this will
sorry.
just
I'm
be
not
for
gonna
me.
be. Yes, I'm
All
gonna
right.
be. I'll try.
If you can
but ain't
get
gonna
one of the
happen.
movies, you can usually get the other movie.
Announce
I
the
don't
name
know.
of the game.
My
and
brain
then
doesn't
get
work
into
like
it.
that.
Announce the name of the
Yes.
game and get into it.
Yes.
That way we can make it a club.
All right. So this is before and after movie titles.
All right.
Got it.
Before and after movie titles. All right. Nicolas Cage is an arms dealer who's making a profit selling guns to the humans and to the monkeys.
Lord of War of the Planet of the Apes.
Bingo.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yay.
Nicolas Cage is a felon who just wants to get back to watch his dog play basketball.
Con Air Bud.
You dog. You dirty, dirty dog. Dang it.
Harry didn't put his name in the cup, but now he has to fight against the Navi of Pandora.
Harry Potter and
It's the Goblet of Fire.
The-
Fire.
the Goblet of Fire and Ash. Harry Potter and the
you go.
Goblet of Fire and Ash. Fire and Ash. Fire and Ass.
Jimmy Stewart has a flashback where he realizes it's a good thing he was on that ship with the tiger.
Jimmy Stewart?
Is the
Sorry.
second one Life of
The
Pi?
angel,
It's
the,
definitely
the-
Life of
the
Pi.
angel shows Jimmy Stewart why it was important he was on that boat with that tiger.
I don't know the first one, but it's Life of Pi is the second
It's a
one.
movie that you've definitely
American
watched.
Life. Sorry.
It's a Christmas movie that's not a Christmas movie.
It's a Wonderful Life of Pi. Okay, there we go. I didn't remember the name of the guy. There we go.
Most accounts of the Vietnam War don't include the part where the street magicians are pulling off heists.
Saving Private. No.
No.
Wait, Vietnam War?
Vietnam War.
I mean, Forrest Gump.
No.
No.
Do you know can you get the second movie that I'm referencing?
Yeah, I know the second movie.
What's it called?
Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Yeah.
So now, Apocalypse, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Apocalypse Now. My mind doesn't work that quick. I need to know both the movies, otherwise it's going to take me a while.
Yeah.
Good.
This trio of hot spies are really good at baseball.
Charlie's Angels in the Outfield. Hot dog.
This giant monkey has taken over Pride Rock.
King Kong.
Oh, sorry, I should have backward. Pride Rock has been taken over by this giant monkey.
Lion King Kong.
Ah, you dirty, dirty dog.
Tony Stark is going to avenge Dakota Fanning's death.
Iron Man on fire. This is great. Dakota Fanning. That's wild, dude. Dakota Fanning made an appearance on our show.
Got a couple more. I'm forgetting his name. Okay, yeah, sorry. Kevin Spacey has been peeping on Belle.
American Beauty and the Beast.
Oh no.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh no.
That movie. Talk about just one of the hardest movies to watch for like a myriad of reasons.
Oh,
First
it's so
off, it's
good.
Kevin Spacey.
It's
Second
so
off,
funny.
it's about a guy who's interested in a high school girl, and then thirdly, there actually is a 16-year-old girl who's
Or
like
17,
nude
but
in the
still.
movie.
Yeah.
like in the actress is like 16 or 17 at the time, and you're like, no
Woof.
to everything.
Woof. Evan, if you're watching,
Evan, why did you make
Do
us watch
better.
that?
George Clooney has to pull off a heist without disturbing the jurors.
Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Angry Men. Yeah.
Darth Vader has to get his Star Destroyer up to 88 miles an hour.
Star Wars.
The Empire Strikes Back to the Future.
You dog.
Marky Mark and his compatriots have to make it through a bunch of fairy tales.
4 Brothers Grimm.
Dude, did we watch those together too?
go.
Did we watch those together?
Yeah.
Man, what are the odds that those were actually 2 movies that we watched the same week?
All right,
Yeah.
I gotta remember.
Four
who's
Brothers
in this.
Grimm.
It is Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges has to prevent Chris Pine from stealing all the pure dirt.
Hell or High Water Boy.
Not Hell or High Water Boy. There's a specific movie where the world is covered in water.
Hell or High Water World.
Hell or High Water World.
Water World. What a wild movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
This
It
one's
was a
a little bit
disaster.
trickier. I actually need to double check the plot of this one.
Is it the last one?
Oh,
yes,
boy.
the last one.
All right, for all the marbles, me and Marco are tied.
Are we?
Yeah, whatever.
I'm pretty confident you
Might
have like
as-
6 more
Might
than
as
me.
well say we're tied. You've gotten 3 though, Marco.
I'm impressed with myself.
I'm
I'd have
impressed
known.
with you.
Okay. Yeah. Denzel Washington has to prevent hijackers from putting up mean signs.
Okay. Ebbing Street is the the other one.
Denzel
so-
Washington has to prevent
Denzel Washington, a subway dispatcher, has to prevent hijackers from putting up nasty signs.
A subway?
Pelham
Yeah,
1.
What's it called?
Pelham 1, 2, 3 billboards outside of
The
Ebbing,
taking
Missouri.
of Pelham 1, 2, 3 billboards outside
the
of
taking
Ebbing,
of
Missouri.
Pelham 1, 2,
Funny.
3 billboards outside of Ebbing.
That's
But,
so
you know,
funny.
I love
That
this, and I
was-
will
yeah,
do this again.
that
That's
was
a
actually
good. That's
a lot of
good.
fun.
All right. I'll give you that.
I am trying to do more. That's why I asked you for that list. I'm going to try to
Yeah.
do more of movies we've actually talked about.
Yeah, that
Okay.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I
those
liked that
those
a
are
lot.
good. So
they're a lot of fun.
so I'm next, right?
Yes.
My segment. So my
Marco.
segment is
Time now for your weather update with weatherman Marco.
let's
Ah,
go. Okay,
feel
so
you. I'm
real
so
quick.
pumped for this.
Yes,
by the way,
so really quick, I'm actually very curious to know your thoughts, Nathaniel,
On weather?
because we're going to talk about twisters, and in there's going to be some segments in there that are chemistry related.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
curious to know your thoughts and your background in all this. But I'm going to give a quick little segment about this. There are 4 or 5 little topics that I want to really quickly hit on about the movie Twisters. This is the sequel.
before this, just to let you know, Marco
Yes.
is like a weather guru. The people that are watching it don't know.
It's
Marco,
called a weather geek.
he started
A
a
big old
nonprofit
nerd.
for
A
hurricane
weather
relief.
if you will.
He is
A weather weenie, there you
actual.
go.
He's been doing weather reports since before I knew him. And when I met him in college, he would
If
do
you
it.
lived in Oklahoma, you would be a storm chaser.
Like again, we're from Florida, so there's a lot of hurricanes, and every day storm stuff all over his computer. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? He's still into it. So this is an authoritative source, just to let you know.
I have been, quick background on how I all got started with the hurricane stuff. I'm infatuated with hurricanes. Ever since the 2004 storm, Hurricane Francis, that went directly over my house, I was able to look outside, look up, and look at blue skies. From then, I was hooked. I was completely infatuated. It went from 100, let's call it 95-ish mile an hour, going, I can't remember which direction. It was going this direction, and then we hit the
going
eye,
that way.
and then it hit, and literally it went that direction 45 minutes later. It was the most bonkers thing I've ever seen in my life. Ever since then, I've been completely hooked. Yes, so I have been completely infatuated with hurricanes ever since. So I am, to say that I'm a
He's an
weather
authoritative
nerd
source.
would be an understatement. So, Twisters. I let it be known, I am very much a hurricane guy, but I also understand and realize what it is that makes tornadoes happen. In the movie Twisters, this is the sequel of Twister. Mind you, Twister 1, phenomenal movie, brings back great memories. I've watched it 100 million times, but Twisters, the second one, is the ones that I'm going to be talking about. There are two, there's one image that I want to go over that I thought that did really, really well in the movie. It is a drone shot after the first interaction with a tornado where it has the pathway of a tornado. Okay. On that pathway, there are what's called scars. And this is a true and actual thing that happens on very violent EF3 or higher tornadoes typically, because what happens with a tornado is there are satellite tornadoes, or multi-vortice is the whole thing. There's multiple vortices within a tornado on a violent tornado. So essentially there are multiple tornadoes wrapping around the entire thing that is spinning.
That's
So
wild.
what that causes. Pop quiz. What does the F stand for?
Fujita. Yeah, you're not going to get me.
I was guessing you do.
So what happens is, as
fajita
these
scale.
satellite vortices are going around, they will create little strips of scarring around the entire pathway. So I thought that was a very interesting. I tried to look up for like an hour and a half. I was trying to look up if this was an actual drone footage from a previous actual tornado, because I know that they did receive some tornado footage from tornado chasers, or if it was CGI. I had no idea. The only thing that made me believe that it was more so CGI is because there are crossroads there and there are no cars on the crossroads. And when the damage is as wide swathed as it was and there was debris everywhere, there's going to be cops, there's going to be firefighters, there's going to be a lot of cars just kind of
CGI'd
around
that
it.
out, I
And they
guess.
could have either A, CGI'd the whole thing, or B, taken the cars out, which I don't really know why they would have done that, because whatever. Point is, I thought that was a very good thing that Twisters added in their movie. Number one. The second thing, which is what they got wrong, the EF scale. Okay, they talked about this.
It's first, the F scale is how fucked you are, and the EF scale is you're extra fucked.
That's actually accurate. That's what they got wrong.
So the EF scale. So this started out as the F scale, or the Fujita scale. It has since changed to the enhanced Fujita scale, and the reason why that is because of the technology.
You leveled up.
It's the technology
Super Saiyan
to
Blue.
understand how fast the wind speeds were based on damage. That's the key thing there, is that it is based on damage. It is not based on size or this, that, and the other. It is based on damage, because that realistically, that is the only way that scientists can know for sure how fast the wind speeds were going within the tornado. Okay.
Wow.
So tornadoes are not rated as you see it. It's rated after the fact, after scientists have gotten there, after they assess the damage and say, this particular building or this particular insert object here was damaged. And we say, okay, the only way that it could have been damaged that way is if the wind speeds were within 100 to 135 or over 200 or whatever the case is. So it is a damage scale, not anything else. And in the movie, in Hollywood, that's very difficult for them to understand on how to actually implement that into a movie. Why? Because you need drama. You need that number. You need that, what's the word I'm looking for? The fear factor. You have to say, oh, it's an EF5.
It's a Category 7 hurricane.
They have
Doesn't
to go
even
nuts
exist.
with it, because without that, the drama is just not there. So they do sort of touch on that in one of the scenes where they talk about it's a damage scale. They kind of halfway do that just so they can cover their ass with it. But realistically, the entire time they're talking, oh, it's an EF4, it's an EF5, or whatever the case is. Hollywood can't get that right for that reason. That's it. The next thing, twins. So in the movie, there are there's a scene where there's 2 tornadoes in the same general area. This is an actual thing. This actually happens. In most cases, it is one larger, one smaller, and it eventually kind of just chokes out the other. That's typically how that goes. However, there are times when there are 2 large tornadoes, and what will happen is the reason why this happens is that it is the forward tornado, the one that's in the front end. So if it's moving this direction, it's this one is dying out, and the new rotation is happening at the backside of the storm as it comes in. And
So in other
and it
words,
just kind of
the storm is twerking.
Basically, yes. Yes, it is
got it.
twerking.
I
So that is typically the reason for twins. However, there are times when 2 separate supercells will cause tornadoes to happen, and you can see them from a distance, both of them at the same time. A lot of times, those will just interrupt one another, and then one will choke out the other, and it's very difficult for 2 to be sustained for a long period of time. In the movie, they kind of touch on that.
They do fusion and become an ultra cell.
But they talk about something that is very much a hurricane thing and very much less a tornado thing. Technically, yes, it is a tornado thing as well, but it's very unlikely that they're actually talking about this. They just wanted to sound smart. They're talking about the Fujiwara effect. The Fujiwara effect is when 2 low pressure systems are close enough that they start to interact with one another. And that is the effect of the Fujiwara, based on a Japanese guy that found out about this. Fujiwara something or other. His full name is
Probably
something or
full
other.
name.
It is. This actually happens not a lot. It's rare to an extent, but it happens about once every 2 to 3 years in the Atlantic season for the hurricanes, where 2 hurricanes or 2 low pressure systems will get close enough to one another to where they start to rotate. And if you follow anything hurricane related, that actually makes predicting hurricanes on where they go incredibly difficult because there's so many factors that can happen with it. Fujiwara effect.
ChatGPT
yes, it's
can do it.
No.
Wrong.
Fujiwara.
Wrong.
It's a situation where it just makes it very difficult for where the main storm is going to go. Basically, is what what that talks about. The next thing is the plot of the story for Twisters is so that they can tame the tornado. That's the whole point of it is so that they can interrupt the tornado so that they could potentially save lives as it goes. So the way that they are explaining it is by making the storms collapse. The way that they explain, which is incorrect, but the way that they explain how they are going to do this is is essentially cloud seeding, but amplified, sort of. It's the opposite of cloud seeding. So cloud seeding, and you can help me a little bit with this, but it's silver iodide lofted in the air, so that the molecules of the water molecules that are in the clouds will have an opportunity to freeze, become heavy enough, and then fall as ice. And then as it goes through the atmosphere, it'll thaw out and create rain. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. So if you want me to get a little more technical on that. So basically, if you've ever done, you can do this. If you put a bottle of water in the freezer and it's like,
Yes.
pull it out, you can get super cold water that's not frozen because when you're transitioning between states, and that doesn't matter whether you're going solid, liquid, gas, you need a nucleation point, something for those molecules to kind of congregate together.
Yes.
Because the intermolecular forces are different. And so what cloud seeding functionally does is you throw some silver nitrate into the air and it creates a nucleation point where the water can condense around it. And then once the water droplet gets big enough, it no longer it's too heavy and it falls out.
Correct.
And it's funny because Dubai, they're in a desert. They've been using cloud seeding. They ended up flooding themselves.
So, okay. So there's I'll get back to that in just a second because I do want to know your thoughts on it. But cloud seeding, from all of the research that I've ever had, it only increases by about 5 to 10% the amount of rainfall that actually happens in good conditions. So 90% of the time is not really good conditions. It is just an additional 5 to 10% ish, give or take, of what they estimate how much rain is actually going to fall. A lot of people use this for if you're in a desert, they need fresh water for numerous things, and B, they do it a lot in like Texas and things like that so that they can farm with better crop growth, basically, is the idea. Now, in the movie, they are talking about putting essentially diaper dust, what is made in diapers to absorb water. They want to loft that in the air. The only downside of that, right? So there's 2 things about this. Number one, no, wrong.
Wouldn't that
because
stuff just be everywhere? Then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. What will happen is if you loft it into the air, and let's assume that you make it small enough that it actually does float. Well, eventually, it's just going to absorb the water and fall. So you're going to have a whole bunch of gel on the ground, and it's disgusting.
Actual
It's
diapers.
gross, right? So there's that. Number two, and the reason why this won't work even for tornadoes is tornadoes is a wind problem, not a rain problem. Okay, it is the tornado is formed based on the updraft of a storm and then the changing of direction and speed within the different layers of the atmosphere. It's called wind shear. So essentially what happens is as a updraft happens to go into the storm, there's different speeds and different directions that wind is going, ultimately making the thing turn, causing a tornado. That's the whole point of a tornado. So again, if you loft a whole bunch of diaper dust into the air, and let's assume that let's assume that you actually do put all of the water into that's on the clouds on the ground. It doesn't change the fact that it's a wind problem. It's not a rain problem at all. So there you go.
And the thing is, like, you can it's a wind problem because when you look at it, the reason it looks like it's forming like one tendril at a time is because it's the wind is moving. You can't see the wind, but then the particulate starts following the wind. It can go the other way too. That's where you get a dust devil where the dust comes up
and connects
to the cloud. So it's just
what
wind
you're
moving.
looking at. What you are looking at when you're visually looking at a tornado, it is the wind causing the water vapors from the cloud come down, and that's what you're seeing is the water vapors going around in a circle. That's it. That has nothing to do. Like you can have,
you know what would happen?
You could have an invisible tornado.
Right.
You can because there's nothing.
That's what would happen. They do that, and instead of having a tornado of water vapor, they have a tornado of diaper.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what it is. It is
the sequel to Sharknado.
So
Sharknado.
Brought to you by the producers of Sharknado.
That is Weather with Marco.
Hey, I liked that. That was actually super
informative
and very interesting.
And if you are curious about hurricanes, follow me on Facebook.
He really does post about hurricanes.
I post hurricane season is my favorite season of the year. Period.
I heard last year, like almost no hurricanes made landfall.
Yes, sort of.
Sort of.
There was, I think, one. I can relook it up, but it was
like a historic low for hurricanes.
Yes, and that has to do with what is called the Bermuda High. If you really want to get into it, I can.
Bermuda smoking weed. Got it.
Yes, Bermuda High. There's a high that lives out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Depending on where exactly it is in the Atlantic, it'll pull storms further north faster than if it goes into the Gulf. Then it'll go north. There's a big thing. If you'd like to learn more, let me know. Follow me on Facebook. Hurricane season is coming up. I'm super excited for that. We may move on now. Go ahead.
All right.
The residents of Asheville would like a word with you.
Yes.
Next, we have a scene breakdown brought to you by yours truly.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, really? I thought I was going to do it.
Where I will be breaking down literally.
I'm not sure if this is it.
This is my favorite scene.
It's a crime. He's a criminal.
No,
Nope.
I want to say this to the television.
This is
Wrong one.
This is cinema
That
crimes.
means that it is not illegal.
I got.
That's cinema crimes. It says scene breakdown.
You've got to have that. Does that
Lights,
please tell
camera,
me that part
action.
ends with Nixon saying that means that it
okay,
is not
I got it.
illegal.
All right, I'm sorry. The soundboard is brand new. I'm so sorry.
Hit me with it.
There it is.
Lights, cameras, action.
That's it.
All right.
You've got to get Nixon saying that means it is not illegal. you got to get that good.
I have him saying, I am not a crook for the cinema crimes. He's a criminal. All right, so I am going to break down a scene. I've been thinking about saving this one for the longest time because this is my favorite scene in any movie ever.
Wow.
This is what I think is the best scene in cinema history.
Wait, we have to guess what it is first.
Oh my gosh.
It's when
Quick
it's
guess.
when Timothy Chalamet fucks the peach.
Near miss. Hit him with the horn, Marco. There's not a better time.
What's your
to-
guess, Marco?
What's
your guess, Marco?
I know generally it's going to be something Lord of the Rings.
You gotta guess.
but I don't know.
You have to guess something that's going to insult him.
No.
Probably Harry Potter. I don't know. It's so
that's
bad.
fair.
Anyways,
There you
go. Do your thing.
All right. So the scene that I will be breaking down, again, like I said, favorite scene of all time. This is what I think is the greatest scene put together in cinema history. The scene is called The End of All Things, and it is a scene from The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. So first, let me set the stage into how we got here, because the scene is Frodo and Sam right after dropping the ring into Mount Doom, jumping out onto one of the rocks on the mountain and having a moment.
Spoiler alert.
And we'll talk about that. How we got there is important because that sets the stage for what happens. So again, this is spoilers to Lord of the Rings. If you haven't watched it,
Or read
you're
it.
filthy. Like go and watch it. But so we've been taking this long journey through these 3 movies that are excessively long. These are really long movies. They're incredible movies, though. And primarily, at least in the movie version, and I'm pretty sure it's in the book too, the main character is Frodo. Like, we have followed him, and it's broken up quite a bit, especially after the first movie. There are different parties of the Fellowship that have broken up, and you're following kind of different storylines. In the second one, it's 2 primarily storylines, and by the time you get to the third one, it's kind of like 3 or 4 at times. But primarily, the main focus has been Frodo taking the ring to Mordor and to dropping the ring in. Now, the build-up for this is important because first off, we have Frodo, and we have to identify what are his motivations. So he's introduced to the Shire, and the Shire is home. I mean, it is the most, you watch it, you're introduced to it, and you're like, this is where I want to retire. They smoke pipes and drink ale, and they're all super friendly with each other, and they have big town meetings, and it's absolutely beautiful farmlands. Like, it is where you just want to be. There's no troubles. This is where he lives. And he's introduced with a problem that, oh, by the way, your uncle left you literally the Ring of Power. And he's like, oh my gosh, well, then just take it. Like, I'm a hobbit. And it's like, no, everybody else would be corrupted by it. And it seems that hobbits are kind of immune because you're more immune than most because you're not a very powerful being. For that reason, I actually need you to take it to this elven place. It'll probably have a solution there. So he journeys there as the viewer. You're going, okay, I have to journey out of this safe place into this world, and I'm not a particularly strong person. I'm a hobbit. I'm just a little person. So you make it to Rivendell, where the elves are, and it's apparent to Frodo that everybody else would be corrupted by this ring. There's a council of very powerful people, and he can already see it manipulating all these people into this giant argument that's formulating all around them, and he realizes nobody's actually going to take this thing, and I have to take it. And it's a moment of bravery. And he says, I'll take it. I'll take the ring to Mordor. And then he says, I don't know the way, though. And so you get a bunch of people volunteering to help him go there, including one of his friends, Sam. Now, at least in the movie, it doesn't necessarily show like he's a very good friend, but before the mission starts, it doesn't appear that he is necessarily anything more than one of his friends. But he is charged with a task by Gandalf to keep an eye on him. It's like, don't you lose him, Samwise Gamgee. This becomes a big line later in the movie. And so Sam takes it on his personal job. So his motivation is Frodo. So Frodo's motivation is, I have to take this ring to Mount Doom. And Sam's motivation is, I need to keep track of Frodo. Now, that through line continues on throughout the rest of the movie. Once the Fellowship is started and they get pushed off, that continues, right? There's a moment where Frodo breaks off from the Fellowship and Sam says, no, I have to stay with you because my mission is you. Your mission is the ring, but my mission is you. And so throughout the second and the third movie, we see Frodo constantly getting more and more negative, mainly because he has the ring on. The ring is evil incarnate, and it is dragging him down. It is making him just an awful person. And Sam is kind of seen as the one that's lifting him up and going, hey, there is still hope. But he has a big speech in the second movie. There's a million scenes in these movies that could have made it to best scene ever, but we'll talk about why this one is.
You know what the best scene ever is? All 3 movies.
That is also very fair. So anyways, this obviously gets to the ultra climax of the third movie because there's one in each movie.
I didn't say anything.
There's a cinematic term, and man,
can we get into like, oh yeah, like a
no
on the soundboard?
We're not going to get that on the soundboard.
Continues.
So it is obviously, it's met with a lot of trouble and there's a lot of pain. But they finally get to this point where Frodo casts the ring into Mount Doom and they run out as the mountain is exploding and they jump off onto the side of this mountain as lava flows around them. And this is where the scene starts. Frodo sits there and he stands and he's looking around. There's this triumphant music that's playing and he is so jubilated and he's like, it's done, the ring is gone, and he's it's almost like he's too happy to even smile. He's like just hyperventilating. And then it shows Sam who's sitting there and you're starting to notice a shift now. Sam is sitting there and he's crying. He says, yes, it's over now. and there's a big rumble, and Frodo falls down onto his back, and he takes a deep breath and he looks up, and then this is where Howard Shore, who's the composer, comes in, and he creates one of the best scores. It's called The Eagles. It is like, it's like heaven. Like, I don't know. It's just like the most angelic music you can think of comes in. And Frodo, for the first time after getting the ring, is admitting that he can actually see the Shire. And this is parallel to, like, he has a moment just before he threw the ring in that he says, like, I can't remember anything. I can't remember happiness at all. I can't remember the taste of bread. I can't remember the touch of grass or any of that. All I see is the eye. And so he lays there and he's so relieved. And he's just like, I can see the Shire, the Brandywine Bridge, Bag End, Gandalf's fireworks. And he's going through these things and he's smiling and he's laying down and this angelic music is playing. But the cinematography is so amazing in this scene because he is in the foreground. Frodo is in the foreground while he's saying these things. It starts off on his face, but it changes where he's in the foreground. And you're actually focusing on Sam. And Sam is just crying. Sam is not happy. He's sad and he's crying. And the camera's slowly moving around Sam while Frodo is talking about these amazing things, and the music is echoing that this is the point that you can finally, you've been watching for 3 movies and it's finally done. And it's like, oh, and he's mentioning all these things. And then Sam interrupts and he says, Rosie Cotton, she would have been there with ribbons in her hair. And he says, if I was going to marry somebody, it would have been her. And it's just amazing. Like this, at this moment, man, I can't even, like, just talking about it gets me going. But at this moment, it's a huge part for their development because it's the first time that Sam has not been thinking about Frodo and he's thinking about himself. And it finally hits him. Well, maybe it was hitting this whole time, but he was motivated by duty to not focus on this. And he's like, I'm not going to make it home. Like they're both admitting that they're dying. And for Frodo, death is a breath of fresh air based on what he's been dealing with. But for Sam, he's like, yeah, and I know that things are great for you right now, but I just gave up my entire life. And it hits Frodo when Sam is saying his words, because when Sam starts talking and then it shows Frodo, which is, again, it's genius work with cinematography. So it shows Frodo, and Frodo immediately, his mood changes. And the roles reverse in that moment, that now Sam, who was Frodo's protector the whole entire time and guiding him all the way up to throw the ring in, now can admit that he is broken and sad, and he has to admit all that he gave up. And Frodo finally realizes right now all that Sam gave up. And then he's like, he didn't actually need to be here. He came here for me. And now in this moment, he's admitting this loss that he's not talked about the whole time. And so Frodo sits up and puts his arm around Sam, which has kind of been reflected the opposite way the entire movie. And he says, I'm glad to be with you here, Samwise Gamgee, here at the end of all things. And that to me is like, it's absolutely perfect. Like, it's perfect in the sense of the cinematography is beautiful. Like, it's beautiful how they conveyed what I just told you, just in the camera work alone, that when Sam is talking, you're seeing Frodo's reaction, and when Frodo is talking, you're seeing Sam's response. It's trying to convey the changing of these characters' roles in each other's lives. The music, it's one of my favorite score songs ever. I listened to that song so many times. It is just like, it's just so angelic and beautiful. The acting is obviously incredible for the entire movie. Sean Astin and Elijah Wood their chemistry is perfect. But that scene must have been, I don't know how you, like, I mean, they're both just distraught. They're crying. They're happy half the time and sad half the time, at least Frodo is. And like, to have to convey that and just to show brotherly affection is not something that you see well done a whole lot in Hollywood.
Especially nowadays.
Well, yeah, especially nowadays. But just to see that moment, that's a very tender moment between two guys that are just like, yeah, we're going to die now. It's just incredible. It's incredible on every level. And I think that it obviously is helped by everything around it. A scene isn't made just by the individual scene. It's aided by everything else that's led up to that. And in my opinion, that the movie could have ended there. It wraps up again. It gets laughed at, although everybody agrees that it's still okay, because it has like 5 or 6 endings to it, because it has to tie up all these different storylines. The movie could have ended right there. I like
the super epilogues.
And yeah, well, especially the movie that's incredible. Yeah, you've absolutely earned it. But that could have ended right there. And I'm like, it is just perfect. Every time I see that scene, and the number of times that I've just watched that scene, I've just been like, how do you do it? Like, how did you end it so perfectly between these two characters wrapping up this entire series? But If you haven't seen those movies, go and watch them. It is worth
Shame
it to
on
go
you.
through all 3 extended editions
editions
just
for
to get
sure.
to that part and to go, this is the peak of cinema. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. This is the absolute peak in every way. Score, cinematography, writing
In
and
some
story,
ways-
characters, and the acting. It's just
In
perfect.
some ways, it's actually depressing because you're like, it can't really get better than this.
Well, and that's the thing. You're also
Cinema peaked in 2003.
You're emotional too,
Sorry.
engaging with the scene because you're going. This is the end of this journey I've taken of this incredible journey. I mean, it's a phenomenal movies, like just amazing in every way. And so you're at the very end of this, and you're also feeling the drag. Like you've had to go. Like you can't earn that scene if you haven't watched the rest of the movie, and so it pays off so well. It's just amazing. I love that scene. Favorite scene of all time. All right.
So what was the? This is the Eagles, right? The name of this track.
The
and
Eagles,
it goes
yeah.
like doo 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 doo. Doo, doo, doo. Got him. We got him.
Go and listen to it. Howard Shore, the Eagles.
It is a phenomenal soundtrack.
It's amazing. All right. So Nathaniel's got a segment. Nathaniel's got a soapbox special for us.
Soapbox
I
special or
believe.
science. You can go
Yeah,
either
you
way
can
on
do
that one.
science time with Nathaniel
All right,
Levinson.
let me. Here, yep.
It's science time with Nathaniel Levinson. Teach me, doctor.
I always forget about that last bit.
You are a doctor. It's
I
accurate.
am a doctor. I almost said of ugly. Sorry. It's a family. It's one of our family jokes where someone will say something, and the response, it doesn't matter what it is. Say you're a blank of ugly.
I'm a video producer.
You're a video producer of ugly. Yeah, so that's how it works. And it doesn't even need to be like that. Like, I could go for a steak. You're a steak of ugly. So
It's lowbrow.
it's but it works.
Okay.
All right.
You dying?
Okay. Yeah, apparently.
Jeez.
Oh, geez. Water. Nailed it.
The sound that
Good.
came out of there was
It's
just
good. It's good. That's good Foley work right there. So, I talked about this a little bit when we talked about Harry Potter 3, because Harry Potter 3 introduces time travel. And my soapbox or / science thing is time travel ruins movies.
Agreed.
Multiverses also ruin movies. That's another one that I'll do at some point, but I think multiverses, there's ways to do it where it's not terrible. Time travel, I think there's almost no way to do it that isn't terrible. So, broadly speaking, I think you can kind of break down, there are 3 kind of camps of time travel. Okay? There's the time travel where you change things and it affects the future, right? So, like Back to the Future, and sometimes it's like instantaneous, sometimes it takes some time. So, like Back to the Future, he starts fading because he messed with the timeline, right? There's like 12 Monkeys where you can't change anything. And then there's stuff where every time you change the past, you're not going into the same future. You're like branching the timeline.
Right.
Okay. Which is functionally, you can change things, although arguably slightly less nonsense. So like the repercussions don't hit you instantly because you're on a different branch of the timeline. Here's the problem. The only one that actually works is the time travel doesn't change anything, like the 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
Except for, and like with 12 Monkeys, you're like, oh yeah, that's the only way time travel works. Like it's a really smart time travel movie. And it's interesting because they say at the very beginning, like, we can't change time. The whole reason they're sending him back is not to stop the plague from happening. It's to try to find a sample of the plague so they can make a cure so that they can retake the future. They have no intention of ever, because they're like, we can't. Because you can't, it's already happened. You can't change the past. It's already happened. Right? And so that's the only version of time travel that actually makes sense. The problem is, it's kind of depressing, and you jump through a whole lot of hoops for nothing. Then you have the version of time travel where you change events in the future, or branching timelines, either way. And the problem with that is it breaks the universe.
Yeah.
It breaks everything. If you can time travel, there is no problem you can never not solve.
Right.
Because, hey, I messed up. Let me just go do it again. Now, time loops, I would say, are different. I would qualify those as different. A time loop is more like you are stuck in a puzzle scenario until you can figure it to break out. Now, time loops have their own issues, but if you're not changing the past. What you're doing is you're repeating a point in time until you can figure out how to overcome whatever the wall is.
And like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, like Groundhog Day, which is obviously comedic, or
was it
Edge of
Doctor
Tomorrow.
Strange in the one where he's like in the other
where he traps the guy in
world,
the
and
loop.
he traps him in a loop
Dormammu.
constantly. Yeah,
I've come to bargain. Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
So again, because the time loop, you're not actually changing the timeline. You're just like, it's basically like, it's like a video game, very video gamey. Like you have to figure out how to get past this level before you can progress to the next one. And I think there's been some really good time loop stuff. Time loop stuff, I think you can do well. It's still iffy, but time loop stuff is basically like when you time loop, you erase progress. So it's like the future didn't happen. So typically with time loop stuff in games, you can, but typically in like time loop things, you're not taking, other than knowledge, you're not taking anything back with you. So time loop is like a subset of time travel that I think works better for story purposes. It's still a little messy because like how much time did he spend in the Groundhog? People have like calculated how much time he spent in the Groundhog Day loop, and they're like, yeah, like 10,000 years. Like you would go insane in 10,000 years, right? So there are those issues, but time travel introduces a thing where it's like as soon as you it's kind of like introducing a wish ability. Like, oh, I just wish this didn't happen. As soon as you introduce something like that, it nullifies every other thing, and it removes the stakes. And similar to that an Infinite Multiverse does, which that's its own can of worms. I'm not going to get into that. Because any problem you ever make, just travel back in time and do it and fix it.
Yeah.
And it leads to a bunch of muddled, confused stuff where, okay, either you can't change anything, in which case it was pointless, or if you can change things, again, stuff like Bill and Ted and Back to the Future, those work because they're not like, the time travel is not a serious element of the plot. Whereas in Harry Potter 3, it is an important part of the plot, but it makes no sense. Like, why would you not always use time turners? They completely disappear because Rowling recognized, like, if these exist, they kind of ruin everything. Like, can't I just use a time turner to fix everything? Like, yeah. And I would say you'd have a moral obligation to go, if you can travel back in time and stop certain things from happening, I would say you have a moral obligation to do so. Time travel is impossible. Whatever science is telling you, you cannot go backwards in time. That's just not how time works. You can't. So I think Primer is like a really famous indie movie that apparently did like but basically you set a restore point. You can only travel back in time to the point where they turn the time machine on. And you get the whole paradoxes of interacting with yourself and this and that and the other thing, and what happens if you see yourself and like Looper
or Tenet, where they're just all running backwards,
right? And so
the cars
you either have to try to explain so many different weird rules that it makes no sense, like Tenet, or you have to say, oh well, this is just a magic thing. This is just magic that fixes the plot, like does what we need the plot to do. So either way, it's lazy. It's a sign of lazy story writing. And if you try too hard, because time travel does not make sense. Now, here's how time travel does work. If you are near the speed of light, for you, time slows down.
Yeah.
So you can time travel into the future. And Interstellar does that.
Yeah.
Although then he time travels back, which, come on now.
No, he doesn't time travel back. He uses gravity backwards.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why she's so old when she meets him. You don't remember
the bookstore? The bookcase?
The bookcase
that was back in time. That was a previous moment in the plot.
Yes, but
it was time travel.
But he can't interact. Like the only thing he can send back in time is the gravity.
But he's still, anyways.
Yes,
still time travel.
The idea of that is that in their 5 dimensions, the future people created that so he would understand how gravity works backwards. But he's not actually back in time.
Right. He's not physical, but it's still time travel. It's still, he's sending something back in time. It's still time travel.
The notion that the conclusion that they came to in the movie is that the only thing that can travel forward and backwards in time is gravity. Other than that, you can only travel forward in time. Like what you said.
I understand that.
You're right.
His physical body is not traveling back in time.
It is a form of time travel.
Witnessing it, yeah. So they do kind of break. But like you could do this potentially if you could find a way to slow time around yourself. You could travel forward into the future. So there's a great episode of Futurama. Called The Late Philip J. Fry, which Futurama does have a time travel like into the past episode, which is pretty funny, where Fry becomes his own grandfather.
Futurama, genius.
Yeah, Futurama genius. But they have it. There's a whole episode where the professor's like, I created this time machine. It only goes forwards in time. That way you can't accidentally do something like go back in time and become your own grandfather. And Fry's like, yep, wouldn't want to do that again. So one of my favorite episodes of Futurama. Very funny. But my point is, if in shows that are meant to be taken seriously, where it's a serious thing, if it's a comedy,
it does great in comedy.
Matter. It does great in comedy because
you
can kind of play on the absurdity of it.
Yeah,
the fact that it is something that's so absurd and doesn't actually work, the surreality of it works in favor of comedy.
Right.
But if you're trying to do something seriously like Tenet, like 12 Monkeys, I'm trying to think of like Avengers Endgame, Time Heist.
In any of those movies that like the
just
movie
fundamentally
itself
breaks everything.
Like Harry Potter and Endgame, in my opinion, introducing time travel into existing worlds where like the movie isn't about time. Like sometimes if it's like isolated and I'm like, this is just a movie about time travel, and make it whatever you want to make it. But when it's like, hey, this is a movie about the Avengers and they can time travel now, I always get so upset because of everything you're explaining, because it breaks everything.
And I can't think of a single instance of a series that got better once they introduced time travel. Anytime they introduce time travel, it immediately breaks everything. And usually it's bad writers hitting a reset button, saying, we wrote ourselves into a corner, let's reset. Flashpoint, which I like the Flashpoint animated movie, I think it's good. But that's honestly, even that is more like a It's a Wonderful Life, where he gets to see the consequences of if he saves his parents, what are the consequences? The consequences are his parents need to die so that the consequences of his parents dying were actually all these good things happened. I still am not 100% sure how his parents dying leads to Martha Wayne becoming the Joker and Thomas Wayne becoming Batman. I'm not 100% sure how there are some butterfly effect stuff that makes literally zero sense, or like because these people died, Superman crash landed in Russia or something like that, or in and like what
Red Superman, or whatever it's called. Red Justice.
Yeah, Red Sun.
Red Sun. There you go.
But anytime you introduce time travel, immediately I say, well, this series was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Because it is a bad writer's Band-Aid. That is what time travel is. Again, stuff like H.G. Wells' Time Machine, even his Time Machine, he's still going into the future. He's looking at what the future is going to be like, and then he comes back.
Yeah.
So, time travel is bad. Don't do it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that the biggest thing for me that it does, when I was resonating with what you were saying, is stakes for me. It's like and the multiverse, which again, it's a separate issue, but it's kind of the same. And
it's very similar in that if you have an opportunity, if the infinite multiverse, so there's like Jet Li, so the one is an example of there's a multiverse, but there's only 20 of them or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, there's a limited number, so you can kind of work with that. You can have some creativity, but you can kind of work with it. But if there's an infinite anything, then it's like, just go to the universe where you're alive and also God.
Well,
easy.
And the time travel thing, like in Multiverse of Madness, there's a specific point where he makes one of this like guy who's selling pizza on the side of the road, and this girl from one of the universes, it's like, food should be free in my universe, and it's just like she like just steals this guy's stuff, and he's like, hey, you can't do that, and so Doctor Strange just puts a spell on him to punch himself in the face for a week, and they laugh and they walk away, and I'm like, dog.
So they're evil?
Yeah, I'm like, dog, you are the villain in any Spider-Man movie. Like, what are you? And it's like, but then the response is, well, there's cosmic things happening here in multiple universes. I mean, what does that even matter? And then I go, yep, you're right. Nothing matters.
And in that
Congratulations,
same movie,
movie. You're dumb.
Yeah. Well, in that same movie, they meet the evil Doctor Strange who destroyed an entire universe, killed trillions of people. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? There's a whole nother universe of trillions of people there. If there's an infinite number of people, then any loss is not a loss. It rounds to zero.
Yeah.
All the stakes are gone.
And I think time travel is similar in the sense that you can fix everything. Again, I think this is not to go back and just to beat a dead horse, which the dead horse in this situation would be Harry Potter. It's just laying there, and it's like, blah, you might.
I hate you. I hate you specifically.
But here's the thing. Technically, she did the version that I think is acceptable, where the stuff that happened already happened. Now, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy paradox where it's like he was only able to do it because he'd already done it, right? And he even says that. So it's like, okay, that's nonsense.
It's like they could have just not spun the thing.
Yeah, the bigger problem is not the time turners in that particular book. The bigger problem is when it could solve problems, where did they go?
Well, that's my whole thing is, again, back to the stakes. It's not necessarily how it's used. It's, well, just use it all the time. Like it's the solution to literally everything.
Yeah,
it is time travel solves.
Yeah, it's like,
everything.
But we'll run out of time travel. Just time travel back to where you had more.
Literally,
it's like the Felix Felicis thing. Like if it makes you so lucky you succeed at everything, whatever you need to do, like make more of it
Yeah.
Oh, just take the Felix Felicis, make a bunch more Felix
guy from-
Felicis. I need to kill Voldemort. Takes the Felix Felicis. Now Voldemort's dead.
Can
Sweet.
we stop?
It's
shitting
fresh. It's
Harry
the
Potter.
freshest-
Harry Potter.
Here,
Potter's
give us
just
another time
laying
travel
on the
movie to shit
ground
on.
and everybody's
Fucking any of them.
I talked about Endgame.
Any of them.
To echo that point in Endgame, they're all like, "Oh, we're out of the Pym particle," and they're like, "We're out of the Pym particle now," and then they just go back and get more
Yeah,
Pym
they just go
particle.
back
I'm
more
like,
Pym particle,
You
like-
morons! You could keep doing that forever.
Forever.
Like it's not. Anyways,
Yeah.
so that is time travel, and
It
we are
just
going to.
doesn't
I 100% agree. All right, Marco's got a
I've
last
got-
game segment for us here to wrap up.
So this is going to be an interesting one, and I think this is going to
yes.
garner a lot of interesting takes. I think. Okay.
that's a good thing.
Your goal, or let me explain the game first, and then I'll let you kind of go. The whole point of this is to pick a side without knowing what the topic is, and then you have to
for or
argue
against?
for. Right, you have to argue for or against this topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So
Prepare to lose.
your
Prepare to be
goal.
embarrassed.
Wrong.
All right. Let's go ahead and pick
Why don't you
sides.
no, just assign us for and against.
Okay, that's
then,
fine.
And then spin the wheel on the topic.
Hilariously, I really want Greg to be against this.
Oh come
I'm sorry, for this rather.
All right, do it.
So, Greg, you are going to be for this topic. Nathaniel, you are going to be against the topic.
Prepare to be embarrassed.
Are you ready?
Terrible.
Time travel in movies. What?
No.
Harry
the
Potter.
topic, false. I will never bring up Harry Potter because you guys are just going to shit on it like a bunch of
I've
idiots.
already said I
The
love it.
Okay, go.
The topic is the MCU would be better if
It was won by a woman.
Captain America and Iron Man were casted as women.
You have to argue for that.
Greg has to argue for it, and you have to argue
Can I
against.
go first? If you think that you're a psychopath, their gender shouldn't matter. In the sense of what improvement is there? There's no improvement on the character other than disrespecting the source material. You gain nothing. And guess what? We already have a female Iron Man. It's called Ironheart, and she's a criminal.
I'm talking about the Avengers.
You're just
Actual. Okay, so
you're just gender
So
swapping.
Iron Man.
You know what? Let me jump in here real quick.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. You got to argue for it.
All right. Here's the reason that Iron Man should be
Iron Woman,
a girl.
not just the
no,
Iron Man.
you
but
still
the
call
Iron
her
Woman and the
Iron
Children
Man.
too.
We'll
Oh,
still call her
you're
Iron
right.
Man.
How progressive of us.
All right, but there are a few points that would hit here. Okay, so a lot of the problems
need more
with
women in
girl
STEM.
boss characters are that it's unrealistic, right? You'll have what the tiny girl from The Accountant 2 that's just like, I got hit by a car and now I'm a super assassin, and she's like drop kicking like full grown guards, and you're like, you are a soccer mom. Like, this doesn't make any sense. In this case, it wouldn't matter necessarily the gender if you created an Iron Man suit. You are
The other one was
protected.
Captain America.
Captain America
The
takes
other
a
one's
serum.
Captain America.
Right.
So these aren't people that have to physically be strong, like a Black Widow that would have to be a guy. Clearly, we're recasting that one as a guy. If we're gonna
You're
redo.
right. We're gender swapping everyone.
Oh, of course.
His uterus was removed.
But they don't necessarily need to be males because in this case, Tanya Stark would be in an Iron Man suit and could do more impressive things than any normal dude.
How you turn Steve into a female name?
And
Stephanie Rogers.
Stefania Rodgers. When she took the super serum, I mean, she just became stronger than every dude.
Okay, yes. So the question is not, could you pull that off, right? Like, could
Well, it's
you?
part of
could
it.
you? Could you?
That
Could you
definitely
justify?
matters.
Okay,
that
sure,
matters.
Sure,
It matters that it could be done realistically.
Sure. Okay, sure. Realistically, you could. But my question to you is, why do you have to replace Iron Man and Captain America, who are established characters,
Right.
who are male characters? And I would say the same thing for making them Latino or Chinese or whatever. Makes as little sense as making them women. Like, is it not disrespectful to women to say you're not good enough to be your own character? You have to be Iron Man. You have to be Captain America, or you're useless.
Well, who said that in the maybe I'd have to consult the rules. Or did they have to be? They have
casted.
to be
from
casted?
the original, from the beginning.
Here's my
they were
question:
casted.
Are they women?
like,
are
so
they women
we're-
playing men in the movie?
No, they're just casted as women, right? So
it's
Iron
Tanya
Woman or
Stark.
Iron, Captain America is a woman.
Well,
and
if Captain America, the male, is casted as a female, is he still a male in the movie? I mean, we've had. Okay, all right.
it's a female.
You're saying
Male,
like from
female,
the
and
beginning,
email,
so
dude.
Captain America,
Already.
First Avenger, and Iron Man 2008, instead of casting
Tony Stark.
yeah.
They're
Instead of
casting
Robert
Margot
Downey Jr.
Robbie and fucking Angelina Jolie.
There you go.
But she is playing
I'd
a
watch
woman in the movie.
Yeah, so would I.
She's playing a woman in the movie.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me tell you
Is
why.
it Charlie's? Is it like Charlie's Angel sexy, or is it just like
Yes.
as sexless as modern movies are?
Sure.
Because if it's sexy, I might be okay with that.
Well, it depends. It depends. I mean, make your arguments.
Well, let's think about what puts butts in seats. All right, and let's think about the target audience, which are males. All right, we're not gonna put Humpty Dumpty in as
Especially not Shrek Humpty Dumpty.
oh my god! Just hearing that and seeing it in my head sidetracked this entire segment. An egg just something about your entire
My lips. Look at my lips.
your entire body being a face is just it will never work. It'll never be good.
It's working for someone.
But yeah, dude, recast him right now. I mean, look, right now, where's the MCU? It's in the garbage. It's in the garbage. If you try anything, give it life, even if it's a controversial topic, change those suckers to girls. All right, make them some pretty girls, so you get guys going to see the movie that don't really care about Marvel. You get Marvel fans going because they're prepared to hate on it, and you actually write a good story.
And see, here's the thing:
make that be
if
the
you
only problem.
predicate it on a good story,
But it's not a problem. I love it.
If you write good stories and good characters, then yeah, I think you could get away with it. The problem is we're not in a world where that's the case.
That is not the case.
And the only reason you would swap women in for men is
to
because
make a point.
Exactly to make a point. Like
to never make a point. That's not it at all.
We don't have enough women in positions of power or whatever. Like, okay, what is a female actor going to do better than a male actor in that role, other than have boobs?
I was about to
And
say
that's
that.
That's not being sexist. Like
That's
functionally,
that's not nothing.
That is not nothing.
That's not
But like-
nothing.
But like functionally, what functionally does a woman do better than a man? And again, that's vice versa.
Don't
Like,
clip that.
and vice versa. What does a man do better than a woman that you would need to? But the thing is, it only swings
Right.
one way.
Yeah.
So you're never like,
We need to cast Jack Nicholas to go play.
Barbie.
To go play
Barbie.
Barbie.
We should cast Jack Nicholson as Barbie because that's progressive, right? No one's saying that. So, and I would say that's absurd for the exact same reasons.
Yeah.
That this idea of gender swapping is very absurd. Now, if you have a character that's like Shakespeare productions, they'll do all sorts of things, and it's like, okay, because the character is known, so people understand the character coming in, and you can kind of to some extent get away, but at the same time, in some ways, it doesn't work.
Well, hear me out. I got a reason this is gonna work.
right.
All right. So here we are. We've seen it all, dude. We've seen well done Marvel movies, and we've definitely gone through the pantheon of we're gonna turn this into a horror movie. But you know what we haven't seen? Turning great IP into comedies. All right. So what if we Mrs. Doubtfire this crap, and we get Tanya Stark, and we get Stephanie Rogers, and they're going into this situation, and they're like, I have to go into the army. Better act like a man. And then we get some.
Is the movie that they have to infiltrate an evil lesbian sorority? Because I'd watch that.
They no, they're acting like men. But yeah, they're
And see, this is the problem. And
Mulan?
I'm going to say this very carefully.
Mulan.
I'm going to say this very explicitly.
You know the law.
Women. Sorry, let me start with men. Men are the most hideous, awful women, and women make the most hideous, awful men.
That's
Both
fair.
of us need to stay in our lanes. When you cross those streams, it's always ugly and wretched and just vile in both directions. And it's like, guys, let the men be men, let the women be women. And you can talk about like, oh, well, you're just looking at the women as a sex object. Okay, you want to talk about that being a problem? Fine. Why does every single MCU male take their shirt off? So the door's got to swing. I'm fine with you saying nobody should be sexy. Although, yeah, I would argue if you want to get butts in seats, everyone should be sexy.
That's kind of the idea. Movie stars are supposed to be pretty people.
I am here saying that all movies should be cast in the nude from here on out. Every single one.
I'll
If
be
that's the
against
case,
that.
if that is the case, I'm swinging to the side of Greg, and they have to be female because I don't want a bunch of schlongs on the screen. Just
Well, guess what? That's the weird thing I've noticed is because there's
Far less
already
schlongs
so
in
much
our movies
schlong.
this week.
There's so much more schlong than
There was
other than,
significantly
like,
less schlong in these 2 weeks than the previous 2
2
weeks.
weeks. That's true. That's true.
There was
Well,
a lot of.
you did start watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so you're gonna better see
I'm so-
wieners, floppy
as-
wieners,
no,
always
as-
soft and. Have you guys not seen that South Park episode? Wiener, wiener, wiener. One wiener next to another wieners.
In all fairness, Night of the Seven Kingdoms had a more egregious schlong than any
Yeah.
of them. Although, to be honest, Night of the Seven Kingdoms was not very sexually egregious in any way. It showed a guy peeing and a guy pooping. And those like the only two things that you see out of it.
And a pair of boobs. That was it.
Yeah, really briefly.
Really
like,
briefly.
and it wasn't in a sexual like there wasn't like a thing happening. But, anyways, so yeah, cast them as females.
All right. So in retrospect, in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the spirit of the game, specifically due to the fact that I like women and seeing them naked, I'm gonna go with Greg. You win.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
That was really
But that's
sexist,
only,
Marco,
that's only
and
with
that's
my
terrible.
caveat. And
That
that's
is
only
my
with my
reason.
caveat that Hollywood productions are no longer allowing clothes.
Well,
they're all
you're the
naturalist
one. You're the
productions.
one.
I don't
You're the
support
one
that
who
part.
made that
I wanna say
argument.
that.
Therefore, ex de facto, Greg wins.
It's because they're
Every
talented.
movie is rated
Cast them as the
NC-17
men.
now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we are coming to the end of our show. We will be back at it in 2 weeks. That will be March 17th at 7 p.m. That is St. Patrick's Day. It is actually St. Patrick's. So we will have a few St. Patrick's.
Unfortunately, we've already talked about Boondock Saints, so we have nothing to say anymore.
We will have some St. Patrick's Day
I'll bring some Lucky
themed
Charms.
segments. We don't know exactly what that'll look like, but put your green on and mark it on your calendars. We want you to join along with us. Watch some St. Patrick's Day movies. So when you join along with us, and we undoubtedly have some St. Patty's topics, you can kind of join in and tell us how wrong we are. So again, like I said at the beginning of the show, subscribe, like our channel, and until next time, this is the 4D Podcast. You know, I'm about it, man. I support my opinion. I think recast him, Mrs. Doubtfire. It'll
Mrs.
rejuvenate.
Doubtfire was the other way.
Well, we'll flip it.
Mr. Doubtfire?